Currently, it's...
The Rob Carson Show is presented by Chapter, Medicare Guidance Simplified.
Hold it now.
You are about to hear the most interesting, informative, thought-provoking, and funny show in America. On air and on the World Wide Web. This is the Rob Carson Show.
This is the Rob Carson Show. It is Wednesday. Wednesday already, folks. We have a loaded show today. I want to remind you of something. Does anybody remember this song?
I've been selling my soul.
Remember this?
Working all day. Overtime hours for bullshit pay. So I can sit out here and waste my life away. Drag back home and drown my troubles away. It's a damn shame what the world's gotten to for people like me, people like you. Wish I could just wake up and it not be true,
but it is.
Oh, it is living in the new.
This song propelled Donald Trump into the White House.
With an whole soul.
One of the many things that did it.
These rich men north of Richmond, Lord knows it all, just wanna have total control. Wanna know what you
know that expression, don't tread on me?
What you do, and they don't think you
They did.
But I know that you do, 'cause your dollar ain't and it's taxed.
And we're gonna have to bite them.
'Cause the rich men, know the rich men.
There you go. So, welcome to the show. Obviously disappointed about last night's. Not surprised, oddly enough. Of course, the last county to report the vote tally was Fairfax County when they dumped 35,000 ballots just out of nowhere. Just out of nowhere. It's kind of weird how that happens, these Democrat counties. It's kind of what they do all over the country. That said, a couple of things. I want to know where that $70 million damn dollars came from, and we better get on this. Second of all, the positive news today. A Virginia court on Thursday effectively blocked Democrats' planned April voter referendum to redraw the state's congressional maps, another potentially devastating blow to the party's effort to pick up 4 more U.S. House seats in the national redistricting battle. This is from PBS. This is from PBS. This is from PBS. Virginia Democrat Attorney General Jay Jones already vowed to appeal the ruling by the Tazewell Circuit Court, which granted a temporary restraining order requested by the Republican National Committee and National Republican Congressional Committee. The plaintiffs argued the ballot referendum's timing and phasing are illegal, and they are. And they are. Republicans' request for a restraining order, all signed by Republican U.S. Reps Ben Klein, Morgan Griffith, argued that Democrats were ramming redistricting-related bills through the legislature despite legal hurdle. Well, of course they are. The bastards are trying to steal the damned election. That's what they do because the Democrat Party is so broken, intellectually, morally bankrupt, so bat guano crazy. They think that boys can become girls and compete in girls' sports. And Democrats reliably vote Democrat without reading bills like this. They just go, okay, we're going to vote for it. And then they rely on illegals to fill in the blanks and win the elections. In a statement, the GOP National Committee said the latest ruling was a massive win in defending honest representation for every Virginian. And by God, why do we have a House of Representatives if this S is going to happen? Why do we even have a damned House of Representatives? Might as well just get rid of it. Just get rid of the damned House of Representatives because we aren't being represented in this state. And I'm going to tell you, you have just stepped on that snake. You have just stepped on that snake. Here is Abigail Scamburglar, who I am going to do everything I can to get this wretched CIA mole recalled. Here she is last year in August, 2 months before the election, guaranteeing there would be no attempt to redistrict the state of Virginia.
The short answer is no. Certainly Virginia, by constitutional amendment, has a new redistricting effort that was put in place and first utilized after in the 2021 redistricting. Certainly I've been watching with interest what other states are doing, but I have no plans to redistrict Virginia.
That was 2 months before the election, and she was lying through her frigging teeth. And oddly enough, this is the exact same tactic that the Democrats did when they wrote the ballot measure on the ballot. Here it says, listen to this, should the Constitution of Virginia be amended to allow the General Assembly to temporarily adopt new congressional districts to restore fairness in the upcoming elections while ensuring Virginia's standard redistricting process resumes for all future redistricting after the 2030 census. So they lied on the damned ballot, too. They lied on it, too. This is the kind of stuff that Soviets do. This is the kind of stuff that Soviets do. But guess what? We're better armed intellectually and physically. And we're going to let the courts handle it now, and then we'll just kind of wait and see maybe if, farmers and truckers might want to just, embargo Richmond like they're doing over in Ireland. Maybe that's going to happen down the road. I'm hoping so, because I'm going to tell you, I'm not going to live in a damn state where I am not represented by Congress. I have representation. We have representatives in Congress. We are a representative republic. We are not a democracy. And the day that you take away our representation, they've already got 2 dipwad senators from Virginia who are out of their friggin' minds. Now they're taking away all of our representation. I do believe this is one of the reasons why Virginia started the Revolutionary War. It's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is. It's nonsense. This is real clear politics, talking about the lying on the ballot, the lying by Abigail Schamberger, and where we go from here.
And it says just what Tom says, to restore fairness. And as I'm looking at that,
no.
I'm
Is it fair to 50% of the population? Is it fair to Republicans? No, it's not. That's why it's a lie.
I think this is going to go to the United States Supreme Court. This is Orwellian language intended to deceive voters.
Of course it is.
Now, when you say,
like Abigail Schamberger did last year, 2 months before the election, when she said, they're not planning on redistricting. Why would we do that?
It's a talking point, restore fairness. What they mean is restore fairness writ large. They restore fairness nationally. They mean Virginia is going to be the antidote to Texas. Of course, California was supposed to be the antidote to Texas.
Yeah.
As a talking point, restore fairness makes sense. What you're saying is we want the national elections to be fair. But language like that in a constitutional amendment, in a referendum, when you're going in there reading it, it's intended to deceive.
The actual ballot was misleading
voters.
That's pretty friggin' evil.
And I think my guess is the courts are going to look at this very closely.
Yeah.
Did voters really know what they were getting? Because it is not intended within Virginia to restore fairness at all. It's intended to abrogate.
And then, of course, we had $70 million of outside money, a lot of it probably coming from George Soros and radical leftists and socialists who want to change the United States and end Donald Trump's presidency effectively, which is not going to happen.
Fairness. It is tended to be unfair. A lot of the problems sensible centrist Democrats have here is
all 3 of them
controlling the far left of the party, which controls things. Republicans have been essentially disenfranchised. And when you draw lines like this, it affects your state politics for generations to come.
Yeah, well, we're going to stop this nonsense. A lot of people say, I'll just consider moving from Virginia. No. You fight. You fight. Enough with this nonsense. Scott Jennings talking last night on CNN, one of the voice of reason on CNN, of course, swimming in a strait filled with idiot minds.
Virginia literally had the fairest maps in the nation.
It did.
They had a 6-5 map, 6 Democrats, 5 Republicans. In terms of proportional representation, they had the fairest map in the nation. That was drawn, by the way, by an independent commission that the voters asked for just a few years ago. Now they will have the least fair maps in the nation. And I'm not surprised that the yes vote won. They had all the money and all the lies.
They did.
And sometimes in politics, when you got those 2 things.
Yeah, they lied on the ballot, for God's sake. They lied on the ballot. When you go in and you have your sacred right to go into a voting booth as a citizen of America, which you should absolutely have to prove your citizenship, because this is the most important thing about being a citizen in a representative republic, is that you can vote for your representative, and that representative can represent you in Washington, D.C. And these bastards tried to take that away from you, but we're not going to let it stand. We're not going to let it stand in this state. In this state where you can still get a Gadsden flag license plate. In this state where people are proud of their heritage. They didn't allow the statues to be torn down. They didn't allow the street sign names to change. They're proud of the country as standing, and it ain't going to end here. It's not going to end here. This is Jim Gossett.
What have you done in Virginia?
We're not going to let you lie like this.
Didn't realize that you had it in ya.
You kind of ticked this off.
Gerrymandering is now allowed. Of this decision, you should not be proud. Can't you see? Dems are free to cheat.
They can't win elections fairly.
The GOP,
because they're intellectually
they'll
bankrupt.
break the law
They're insane.
when they draw
They're Marxists.
a crooked map, illegal map. Virginia, you a solid blue. Now that Democrats can screw.
Nah, not going to happen.
Current House members,
We got to fight.
will remember the vote you made. You've been played.
Here is the positive. As I've said many times, the left exposes its flanks so we can kick its ass. That's what they did. Now we know you cannot rely on the party platform of the Democrat Party. You cannot rely on what they say to get elected, because they will say anything. They are liars. Abigail Schamberger is a liar. She said they weren't going to do this 2 months before the election, and they did it anyway. And they also have ushered in over 80 new taxes and regulations that were not on the party platform, restrictions on the Second Amendment that were not on the party platform, and this will not stand. We have fought before. We will fight again. Enough with this nonsense. All right, we got a lot of stuff on the show today. This also, by the way, the Southern Poverty Law Center. It turns out Charlottesville was a psyop. It was all a lie to go after Donald Trump and paint us, MAGA members and Republicans, as racists and white supremacists. They said racism and white supremacy was the biggest threat in America. Now you know it was all made up. Of course, I predicted this years ago. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show. Hey guys, it's Carson. You know my signature phrase, don't catch the stupid. When it comes to Medicare, that's easier said than done. Medicare is overly complex with thousands of plans, hidden gotchas in the fine print, and rules nobody really explains to you. Many people just pick something and hope for the best. That's why you need to know about Chapter. They're the only advisor that looks at every plan in the country, matches your doctors, your prescriptions, and your situation to a plan that fits your needs. When your call with Chapter is done, you know your doctors are covered. Your prescriptions are matched, and you go from, I hope I did this right, to, I know I did. That, my friends, is peace of mind. A call with Chapter is free for my audience, and there's no pressure to sign up. Call Chapter today. Here's the number, 27 Medicare. That's 27 MEDICARE. 27 Medicare for Chapter. No pressure. What's your excuse? Call 27 Medicare and don't catch the stupid yourself. Call 27 Medicare today.
The Rob Carson Show podcast is everywhere. Go to Newsmax.com/listen for details.
Yeah, this is the Rob Carson Show. Joining us at the bottom of the hour, former federal prosecutor Doug Burns. He's awesome. He's going to give us some perspective on this nonsense, this lie, this I don't even know what to call it. Abigail Schamberger promised last August they would not redistrict to gerrymander Virginia and eliminate the representation of Republicans. And then less than 2 months later, after election, they did it. You cannot trust the Democrat Party. They are the only way they can get elected is through deception, through illegal voting, and through NGOs that gobble up trillions of our tax dollars and return it in kind as donations to Democrat campaigns and do enriching Democrats in general. This is why I've said for years the Democrat Party is intellectually and morally bankrupt. And if you think this is any way, shape, or form a victory for the Democrat Party in Virginia, yes, it is. But as far as a victory for decency, as far as a victory for being on the right side of God, you're on the wrong side if you think this is cool. You really are. And you need to kind of revisit Scripture and recognize that, if the shoe was on the other foot. So cackle if you are cackling while you have it. Because we know that we're in a battle of good and evil right now. And things like this are not on the right side of goodness. There you go. Now, you want to hear some deliciously good news? You already know about this. The Southern Poverty Law Center, which has spent the last 20, 30 years calling us racist, calling TPUSA racist, calling good and decent moms, like the Moms for Liberty and all this, calling them white supremacist group. That's evil. That's sick. And guess what? Now the Justice Department got it. They understand they've been lying. They're the Jussie Smollett of NGOs. They have been paying the KKK and other white supremacist group to create acts of racism to make it appear like America is racist, when it is not. Who's been saying that for a long time? Me. Thank you very much. America is not racist. This is the kind of nonsense that fed into the George Floyd summer of hell, where they burned $2 billion worth of property and killed 30 people and caused idiotic things like, defund the police, calling the police racist. All of this nonsense. Here's Cash Patel with the announcement yesterday.
What we're here today is to announce what the general just told you. The Southern Poverty Law Center, in a massive sweeping indictment, has been charged with allegations of fraud and using the banking system to perpetrate that fraud. Yeah. I just want to talk about a couple of brief things here.
What's that?
The Southern Poverty Law Center themselves advertise to raise money to dismantle violent extremist groups for a period of at least a decade. They use their donor network to raise money to purportedly dismantle violent extremist groups.
Yeah, what do they do with that money?
However, the SPLC, the Southern Poverty Law Center, used the money they raised from their donor network to actually pay the leadership of these very groups.
Yeah, the Jussie Smollett of NGOs. What a sick cabal. And the worst thing about it is they worked hand in hand with the Democrats to think the least of you and me and to say America is racist and you and I are racist when we are not. When we are not. We've always been proud that the great American melting pot. This is all part of the nonsense of kneeling during football games. All of this America is racist, all this DEI ridiculousness, honestly, that we've had to endure as brothers of all colors and ilks have fought and died on foreign shores for the United States of America, black, white, and otherwise. It's always been nonsense. This is Jason Matera on Newsmax talking about the SPLC, the Southern Poverty Law Center, which needs to be bankrupted.
In a plot twist no one saw coming, the Justice Department alleges the Southern Poverty Law Center was the one funding the actual racists.
Wow.
The SPLC is a nonprofit entity that purports to fight white supremacy and racial hatred by reporting on extremist groups and conducting research to inform law enforcement groups.
I told you that white supremacy as a movement didn't exist in America. It's so fringe, it's not even funny.
With the goal of dismantling these groups. As the indictment describes, the SPLC was not dismantling these groups. It was instead manufacturing the extremism it purports.
They created Charlottesville. Charlottesville was a created event paid for by the SPLC.
To oppose by paying sources to stoke racial hatred.
Yeah, well, what kind of money did they spend on it?
In fact, authorities say the Southern Poverty Law Center paid at least $3 million between 2014 and 2023 to individuals tied to various fringe groups.
These individuals were affiliated with the Ku Klux Klan, United Klans of America, National Socialist Movement, Aryan Nations Affiliated Sadistic Souls Motorcycle Club, the Nationalist Socialist Party of America, Nazis, and the American Front.
Wait, I thought they called us Nazis. No, that's ridiculous. They paid frickin' Nazis. Wow. And they used shell companies to send the money.
Now, to keep the scheme running, the Justice Department
That's what Democrats do.
Says that the organization spun up fake companies to route money to field sources of these hate groups.
They set up shell companies and entities around America so that the financial institutions that we rely on as everyday Americans were deceived in believing that money was not coming from the Southern Poverty Law Center in the perpetration of this scheme and fraud, but rather fictitious entities they stood up to perpetuate this ongoing fraud.
And by the way, they created Charlottesville to go after Donald Trump's campaign.
Among the most damning allegations is that the group funneled $270,000 to an organizer of the infamous Unite the Right rally in Charlottesville, Virginia. It's a white supremacist march where one person was killed and numerous others injured. This recipient of money, per the indictment, helped coordinate transportation to the event for several attendees. That's the same rally, by the way, that Joe Biden pointed to as the reason he ran for president in 2020, saying that we were in a battle for the soul of our nation. But if these allegations are true, it turns out that this threat to the nation was partly financed by a left-wing nonprofit.
It was meant to be used as a talking point by the Biden campaign and then by Kamala Harris against Donald Trump as somehow we are racist. And because this rally happened and they planted KKK members, they could tie it to Donald Trump. I mean, this is just spectacular. It is spectacular, the evil we are uncovering here. And now we just need to drive it out of existence. Doug Burns joins us next. He's always awesome. Don't go anywhere. Hey guys, it's Carson. I just got a ghost bed. Yeah, no, pay attention here, because I've been sleeping on a foam mattress since I moved to the Washington, D.C. area, which is like sleeping on the sponge in your sink. Ghost Bed doesn't build mattresses like furniture. They build engineered sleep systems. Their beds are serious health equipment. Beds designed for relief and recovery, not looks, not fluff. Your body should be healing while you sleep, not fighting for comfort. I have been sleeping past 7 in the morning on my Ghost Bed. It's unbelievable. If you wake up stiff, you toss and turn, if you sleep hot, even reaching for a pain reliever before bed, hoping tonight will be different, that's not aging. It's your mattress talking. Another great thing I love about Ghost Bed, you get 101 nights to try it at home. If you don't like the difference, you can send it back risk-free. Ghost Bed is offering my audience their lowest prices of the season, plus an extra 10% off. Go to ghostbed.com/Carson. Use promo code Carson. That's ghostbed.com/Carson. Promo code Carson. You are going to love your new Ghost Bed.
Two girls that Swalwell groped before. They say there's 50, maybe more. It's a sordid tale. Eric should be in jail for all the girls he groped before. It finally forced his resignation. He left the Congress in disgrace. And now we have an explanation why female staffers carried mace. To all the girls that he attacked, and to the women who fought back, Swalwell needs to pay. Arrest Eric today for all the girls that he attacked. To all the years that he should serve. A prison stay he does deserve.
Hey guys, it's Rob Carson for Relief Factor. There's a reason why at my age I can still crush it at the gym, carry an armchair by myself, or do any home improvement project without pain during or after, and that's Relief Factor. When it comes to supplements, the two things that matter most, it works and you trust it. Relief Factor was created by a combat wounded Vietnam veteran. He decided to become a doctor simply to help people, to heal them. If pain is holding you back, find out why so many people, including me, make Relief Factor a part of their daily routine. Try the 3-week quick start today. Go to ReliefFactor.com. That's ReliefFactor.com. Or call 800-4RELIEF. That's 800-4RELIEF for Relief Factor.
Drugs transported by boat. Venezuela, you best take note. Cartels, they're having fits 'cause they're men. They were blown to bits. The drug boat, it now resides on the ocean floor. The drug boat, Marco says we're gonna take out more. Yes, their lives are in danger if they take another chance. Shut it down.
Ken, you got to kill the music, man. Got to kill the music. We go on to the break here. Sorry to do that to you. I just have to talk to some people back in the studio. So the show sounds absolutely awesome. I wanted to play this audio from Abigail Scamberger.
The short answer is no. Certainly, Virginia, by constitutional amendment, has a new redistricting effort that was put in place and first utilized after in the 2021 redistricting. Certainly, I've been watching with interest what other states are doing, but I have no plans to redistrict.
That is Abigail Scamberger, in August 25th of last year, a couple of months right before the election, where immediately after the election, they decided they were going to redistrict the state of Virginia from 6-5 to 10-1 in favor of Democrats. And that, of course, brings up the question of taxation without representation, among other things. Joining us to talk about this and so much more. I'm sure he has nothing to say about it at all. Doug Burns, former federal prosecutor. How are you doing, my friend?
Good, Rob. How are you?
Well, I'm a little upset that I moved to Virginia with this nonsense going on here, and I'm particularly concerned because not only did the governor lie to get elected, the actual wording on the ballot is a lie as well. Should the Constitution of Virginia be amended to allow the General Assembly to temporarily adopt new congressional districts to restore fairness in the upcoming elections? That's the most...
is completely false and disingenuous. The biggest complaint is, no, it's not temporary at all. It's going to last for quite some period of time. I mean, this is really brazen. I mean, I was looking at a little history for fun. I know you know this, but the audience will find it interesting. Eldridge Gerry was Vice President of the United States. He was also governor of Massachusetts, and they did gerrymandering. They named it after him because they said, that looks like a salamander, that map, and so they said Gerrymandering. Gerrymander.
Gotcha.
And the point is, this is insane. I looked at the map, as I know you did, and you see that huge red area, and it's one district. I mean, it's just absolutely laughable. The other points I want to make really quick, very important, is that, as one pundit just said a minute ago, this isn't about Virginia. It has nothing to do with Virginia. They're saying the quiet part out loud. We must take back the House. They're wearing it right on their sleeves, which is amazing. And it's just incredible. Then, lastly, point I want to make is, of course, mainstream media. So I read an article, just absolutely comical. And the article, of course, they make this like to level the playing field. You've heard that one-liner. They always come up with a one-liner. And then they say, and to counter Trump's dipping popularity and the unpopular war. Are you kidding me? That's some viable reason to redraw a congressional district? It's just embarrassing, Rob.
No, it's beyond embarrassing. It's also unconstitutional. If I'm not mistaken, the Union was created. The Revolutionary War was founded on this, and Virginia was one of the states that signed on to it. Colonies, I should say. This out of Richmond, Virginia court on Thursday effectively blocked Democrats' planned April voter referendum to redraw the state's congressional maps. The Tazewell Circuit Court granted a temporary restraining order requested by the RNC, so they had their guns loaded here, expecting that this was going to happen thanks to Fairfax and Loudoun County. Apparently, they will still be able to go forward. It will be effective until it goes to the Supreme Court. Your thoughts on this ruling, and how quickly can it get to the Supreme Court?
Well, you read my mind, because the next logical discussion is the legal part, which is it should absolutely be challenged in court, as it is being challenged. Now, here's the fun double standard. Whatever happened to the injunction that's used left and right all day long before breakfast and lunch against President Trump?
Yes.
Why wouldn't a court simply enjoin this and say, you can't do this, it has to be held off until the case is adjudicated? I mean, that's just shocking that you don't see that. But a lot of experts and scholars and pundits are saying that they think that there's a chance that the court will invalidate it, but now it's a question of timing, though. I mean, obviously, we're all the way up into late spring now.
There has to be a way to hold a political party and a governor accountable for misleading the public to get elected. There's going to have to be something done on this, Doug. You cannot have political parties vote on a platform and then just do that to get elected and then change everything when they get into office. That is misrepresentation. If that were the case, the Nazi Party could say, "Oh yeah, we're for low taxes and we're for whatever," and then they get in the party and say, "Yeah, let's kill the Jews." I mean, honestly, Doug, it's ridiculous. You can't do this. What?
That's one of the most troubling new developments, I'll call it, in politics, which is, and they learn it from media and so forth, which is just, bait and switch, right, all day long.
Yep.
This is what I'm running on, and then you get in and do something completely different. You and I have discussed this before. You obviously have the recall concept, but again, it's very ineffective. It's incredibly ineffective. And so we're left with, as you and I complain about Mondami here in New York City, you're left with having to sit there for 4 years. It's crazy.
The Southern Poverty Law Center has been known for labeling conservative groups racist when they're not. Everything from Moms for Liberty to TPUSA. We now find out that they paid anti-white supremacist groups $3 million to stoke racial hatred. They spent $270,000 on the Charlottesville rally and riot, whatever you want to call it. And it sounds like they were in cahoots with the Democrat Party. First of all, let me ask you about the charges against the SPLC.
Yeah, no, very serious case. I'm going to study the indictment in more detail later. But they say, as you just explained, that this Southern Poverty Law Center, a charitable entity, was paying informants in these organizations. And that's going to be harshly characterized in two different directions. It's not my first rodeo in a courtroom.
Yes.
The defense is going to say we were simply paying informants to develop information about what they're doing. But the government was very clear at the press conference, Rob. No. They were actually paying, to use your exact semantic formulation a minute ago, to stoke the racial hatred.
Yes.
It's a very interesting theory. And then, it gets worse, though, because they have some financial aspect stuff, which is you used shell accounts to hide stuff. So no, I mean, I don't prejudge a case. I never do. But I'll tell you what, I think this will be very interesting the way this plays out, because that particular organization, it's interesting. For years, I had heard rumblings about problems with them. So, it'll be interesting to see the way the case plays out. But to your question about the charges, no, very serious. Wire fraud, financial improprieties, money laundering, and we'll see how it plays out.
I remember when the white supremacy thing came out, and Joe Biden said that white supremacy was the greatest threat to America, and I said, oh, that's bullcrap. Honestly, it is a lunatic fringe group of individuals. It is not happening. America is not racist in this fashion. And then you find out that, like Kamala Harris and the media went after Donald Trump because of Charlottesville. Listen to this from a debate.
Let's remember Charlottesville, where there was a mob of people carrying tiki torches, spewing
paid for with SPLC money,
anti-Semitic hate. And what did the president then at the time say? There were fine people on each side.
Doug, I know that we've got to go through the trial and everything, but it's very obvious this was a psyop. They were working with the Democrat Party to paint Republicans and MAGA as racists. Go ahead.
Let me be a little melodramatic.
Please.
The thing about, and he said they were good people, that is the most disgusting, despicable, disgraceful political move I've ever seen in my entire lifetime. They should rot in hell for saying that. That's not what he said. That's not what he meant.
Yep.
It was disgusting. The good news is they didn't get away with it as he got reelected.
There you go.
Right up there with that is the whole suckers and losers thing. That was absurd and a total disgrace. Joe Biden looked into the camera on 3 different issues, Rob, 3. White supremacy is the biggest threat. Climate change is the biggest threat. And finally, the whopper. Donald Trump is an existential threat to our democracy. That is totally disgraceful. Case closed.
Yeah, I got more on this, too, on the other side of the break. And I also want to talk about Ilhan Omar suddenly going from $30 million in value to from mansion to trailer park. We're going to cover that in a second. Let's take a break and come back. This is The Rob Carson Show.
WBBM, Baltimore's news talk station.
Close your eyes. Remember what you saw on television. Remember seeing those neo-Nazis and Klansmen and white supremacists coming out of fields with lighted torches. You remember what the president said when asked?
And you had people, and I'm not talking about the neo-Nazis and the white nationalists, because they should be condemned totally.
It's true.
Their veins bulging.
He said specifically that he was condemning them.
No, he did not. He said he walked out and he said, let's get this straight. The veins bulging on their, as they were screaming. Remember, just close your eyes and picture what it was. Their veins bulging. Their veins bulging. Nazi sympathizers.
Yeah, I am convinced the Democrat Party, of course, worked with SPLC to create that event to go after Donald Trump. Joe Biden started talking years ago about how white supremacy was the biggest threat in America. This came out of nowhere. They created it completely to paint a political movement as racist. Doug Burns, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, no question about it. I agree with you. They latched onto this idea that, the FBI, going after like school board meetings, remember that?
Yeah.
These are domestic terrorists. It was insane. They ran everything off the rails, and as I've been saying as a broken record, it backfired and Trump got reelected, obviously. But for some reason, and this is interesting, they're still wedded dogmatically to a lot of these ideas, and God forbid, with all the histrionics, with the Virginia redistricting and gerrymandering and everything else, they take back the House. You're going to see some very, very, very chaotic events unfold, and I'm being diplomatic.
Well, I have a feeling that's not going to end well for them, Doug.
I hope you're right.
I'm talking about a number of reasons. I'm talking about. I'll just say that people aren't going to take this. We've gone through 10 years of this nonsense. We've gone through, the summer of 2020, burning the country down. We went through 4 political indictments of our president. They tried to take him off the ballot, tried to kill him. We're not going to allow his presidency to be taken from us. There are a lot of other things that are going on as well. We've got these NGOs being defunded, a lot of money going to them, some really big things happening on that end. What are your thoughts on the Act Blue thing? Because Act Blue clearly, they've clearly been taking money. They've been using people's names, funneling donations through elderly people to the tune of thousands of donations, tens of thousands of dollars, and using their names.
There's tons of chicanery, tons of cheating, tons of financial impropriety, just as you say. But I really like your point, because I haven't thought it through, but I agree with it 100%, which is that people aren't going to stand for it. So it's going to be very interesting to see whether your insightful observation, which I agree with, that they won't stand for it, how's that going to play out as a practical matter? That's what I'm...
Have you looked at Ireland lately?
Yeah, and by the way...
There you go.
My train of thought, I think you may see something different than you think. So I have glibly predicted, if they win back the House Tuesday, he's impeached Wednesday. I'm now not so sure that's the case because of your point, which I couldn't agree with more, which is that people are not going to tolerate it.
Well, and also, Doug, the Democrat Party has nothing to run on. They're trying to extend this Iran conflict. They have nothing to run on. All they have to run on is anti-Trump, I do not believe that is going to propel them to victory. There's no other reason. They always say, the opposing party always wins in the midterms. This election, the 2024, was about common sense versus nonsense, returning to common sense from nonsense. This is about sanity versus insanity, and it's not. Go ahead.
You may be onto something big time there, in the sense that the decisive victory that President Trump won in the national election, you may see a miniaturized version of a repeat of that.
It's going to be. It's going to be. And by the way, the Democrats got it.
I hope that's right.
Well, with regard to this election in Virginia, the mail-in ballots are what essentially did it, and they're going to put some major restrictions on those. I have no doubt there's chicanery involved in the redistricting in Virginia. No doubt whatsoever, Doug. Your thoughts on Ilhan Omar suddenly going from $30 million to trailer park? What's going to happen to her? I'm hoping she's denaturalized and deported, poverty-stricken.
Well, How comical is this thing? Okay, somebody claimed that they were worth between $6 and $30 million on a financial disclosure form.
Yeah.
Now it turns out, a clerical mistake was made. So the next question is, is it 5 to 29 million? No, it's 18 to 95,000.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
You got to be kidding me. So first of all, Rob, remind me not to use her accountant.
Yeah.
Second point.
Yes.
Second point is not to blow smoke up your keister, but it's your same point you made a minute ago. People not standing for it. You think the average person sitting around the dining room table is like, honey, did you hear that congresswoman who was supposedly worth like between 6 and 30 million, now she says there was a mistake involved in the accounting.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, what's the new number? Again, 18 to 95,000. They're not going to stand for that.
Yeah,
but having said that, this thing about whether or not she married her brother, and now this, they seem to keep getting away with it, Rob.
Yeah. I'm tired of it. I'm just damn done with it. There's a lot of stuff going on in the DOJ with Russia collusion, with the 2020 election and stuff. Tulsi Gabbard releasing a lot of classified documents. I think the feces is about to hit the fan. I really do, Doug. I really do. We got to run, brother. I appreciate you so much, man. Thank you for your expertise. I always love having you on. We'll talk again soon, okay?
Appreciate you having me on.
All right, let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show. Hey guys, it's Rob Carson for Birch Gold. With the dollars converted, hi everybody. Gold ended in 1971. Gold was fixed at listen, if I had a $300 rounding error, it would look suspicious on my tax returns. Dear God,
Gold, on the other hand,
$30 million. You know why? We're not stupid. Dear God, we're not effing stupid. So done with this. It's time for people to start going to goddamn jail. If I did that kind of crap on my taxes, if I suddenly went from $0 to $30 million, the IRS would be crawling up my butt so hard it would be ridiculous. So done with this crap. Just done with this crap.
Online event rewards you for learning the basics of investing
done
in
with
precious
it.
metals. Sign up to get
It's time to fight.
on your
It's
next
time to
purchase.
fight back.
Get even larger incentives as you go.
It's
The
time
more
to
you learn,
fight
the more you
back.
can earn. But you must act now. As
We are dealing with lying, despicable people who call us racist, who put us in jail. I have no doubt that the Charlottesville was certainly a psyop, as well as January the 6th, completely created out of whole cloth. And I'm just done with it, man.
To stay, the house is a complete mess.
Done
Made Pro,
with
how
it.
picky your mom is.
Check out their
Dude,
49-point
Susan
checklist on MadePro.com.
next.
They do a detailed cleaning
Dude,
every
the
time.
Susan
MadePro.com is easy. Just enter your zip
Here we
code,
go. Let's
question
see who's
about the
watching.
house, and
Sorry,
submit.
I'm a little distracted
I have
today.
another call. It's Made Pro.
Oh,
Thanks,
let's
honey.
see. Hello,
I guess your mother won't
Mickey
recognize
Hastings.
our house.
Are you guys having a nice
Rosie,
Wednesday? Hello,
Sign up for recurring
Hablo.
service and receive
David
$75 in free
Carullo.
cleaning.
You're
Made
new.
Pro, your home
Good to see
clean
you
just how you
in
like
the
it.
chat.
Drew
Thanks
taking
for
an L,
joining
Money,
us
Riches,
today.
and Wealth, Wednesday nights at 6
Appreciate
p.m.
it. Hello,
We
all of you
demonstrate
wonderful
every
people
show
over on
what we believe a professional
on Rumble.
wealth
Yeah, it is
advisor
time to
should do
fight
for
back.
you. You
How
cannot
soon
afford
in the
to
recall?
miss Money,
I don't know,
Riches,
but I've
and
already
Wealth
signed one
each
petition
Wednesday
for
night
it.
at 6 p.m.
She needs to go. It's time to fight. And you know what? If we can't fight back legally, we frickin' blockade Richmond with tractors and semis. I'm not screwing around.
WCBM and 99.9 FM in Harford County.
I'll do my show from one.
3.5.
Led Zeppelin. Come on.
What advice does Zelensky give to these young leftists? He says, listen, don't have posters because that's the usual leftist claptrap. He says, all of you come dressed as Klansmen. And then when the Republican speaker begins to speak, you just jump up and down and cheer wildly.
Charlottesville.
So that you have created a media event that makes it sound like the Klan loves the Republicans. So here's a classic example of straight-out deception, historically invalid, in fact, the opposite of the truth, a big lie if you want to use the term of my new book. But Alinsky had this uncanny ability to realize that you could use the big lie effectively to extract concessions.
100%. That's what they did with Charlottesville. That's what they did with the SPLC, calling us racist. I'm beyond pissed off. I'm tired of being called racist. I'm tired of being called MAGA fascist. I'm tired of all of this nonsense. I'm not going to stand for it anymore. I'm tired of our country being called a racist. All of this was bullcrap. All of it was bullcrap from the get-go. I knew it from the get-go. I smelled it a long time ago. when my son was in middle school and they started saying, oh, yeah, my son's got white privilege. Really? Really? White privilege? And then it became Joe Biden saying that white supremacy was our biggest threat. White supremacy, which has always been a lunatic fringe movement, by the way, in the greatest melting pot in world history.
And we won't ignore what our intelligence agencies have determined to be the most lethal terrorist threat to the homeland today.
Bullcrap.
White supremacy.
Never
is
was.
terrorism.
Never was.
We're not going to ignore that either.
Never was.
But on the best days, enough of us have the guts and the hearts to stand up for the best in us.
That's your
the most
Democrat
dangerous
Party.
terrorist threat to our homeland is white supremacy.
Never was.
Our own intelligence agencies in the United States of America have determined that domestic terrorism rooted in white supremacy is the greatest terrorist threat to our homeland.
All of that was a freaking lie, and the SPLC spewed it. And they paid hate groups to do like Jussie Smollett paid those two bodybuilders to beat him up when he went out for a sandwich. That's the freaking SPLC. I hope they're driven into bankruptcy. I'm hoping TPUSA and all of these organizations, Mob for Liberty, who've been called racist by this organization, sue them into oblivion. They will no longer exist. They're going to be driven out of existence, and it's about time. I'm tired of our country being called racist, and I'm tired of me and you being called racist. I've got more of this on the other side of the break. I cannot tell you enough what an insult, excuse me, got a little worked up. What an insult this is to this glorious country when we have done so much to free people around the world, and I will not stand for it anymore. This Abigail Scamberger, the gerrymandering thing that in Virginia is not going to stand either. And you know what? We're not going to sit here and just say, oh, okay, I guess they won. We're not going to let them win. That's it. So pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and get ready to fight, okay? You in this with me? I know you are. Let's take a break and come back. Hour number 2 of the Rob Carson Show is right ahead. Don't go anywhere. the music.
You are about to hear the most interesting, informative, thought-provoking, and funny show in America. On air and on the World Wide Web. This is the Rob Carson Show.
This is a Wednesday on the Rob Carson Show. Already, the 22nd of April? Yeah, 22nd of April. Holy cow. Welcome to the show. Lots to get to. I want to get to Iran. What's happening there? Also, John Solomon, Tulsi Gabbard has released information that China corrupted the 2020 voter rolls. I know. The safest election in history, and Joe Biden got 81 million votes. You couldn't say that maybe that was bullcrap because it was disinformation. It's like almost, it was planned. Kind of like, the Southern Poverty Law Center paying for Charlottesville.
Among the most damning allegations is that the group funneled $270,000 to an organizer of the infamous Unite the Right rally in Charlottesville, Virginia. It's a white supremacist march where one person was killed and numerous others injured. This recipient of money, per the indictment, helped coordinate transportation to the event for several attendees. That's the same rally, by the way, that Joe Biden pointed to as the reason he ran for president.
It's like they almost planned it. Yeah, it was. DOJ has charged the Southern Poverty Center with fraud, paying white supremacist groups $3 million to stoke racial hatred, to create something that didn't exist. To blame a movement on it, by the way, and that's us, MAGA. Didn't work out well for them, but that doesn't mean they shouldn't be held responsible for it. This is Laura Ingraham talking with Todd Blanche about Charlottesville and how the Democrat Party made it up with SPLC.
Charlottesville and the Charlottesville Unite the Right rally. Were they involved in that?
Yes. So what we allege in the indictment and what the grand jury found is that one of the individuals that they paid was one of the folks who helped organize that terrible event. And so so imagine what we're talking about, Laura. We're talking about an organization that actively came out and just screamed it from the top of their lungs.
So just so people understand, watch this. Did these informants, in some cases, given the evidence you've seen, actually initiate what would ultimately be these activities? And obviously Charlottesville ended with a tragedy.
Well, we know that they were part of those. They were part of it. Whether they were the leaders or the initiators, that'll come out, I think, eventually. But what we do know is that the very entities that this group was raising money to go against are the very entities that they were taking the money in and paying to these entities and these individuals associated with.
Remember those idiots who wear the khakis and then the masks on their faces and carry the flags? Those are bought and paid for. We knew it. We thought they were feds. They still could be feds, but bought and paid for.
Those groups.
What was the money used for?
Well, we don't know, because again, all we know is that they set up these fictitious bank accounts.
Fake names, like the Constitution Group or whatever it was called. Then they had one called Fox Photography.
Yeah, SPLC is done. Here is Jamie Raskin. Gosh darn, I always mess up his name. Jamie Raskin of Maryland. A couple of years ago, talking about how great the SPLC is, fighting the racism that never existed.
Now, in other times, Democrats and Republicans alike would rely on the Southern Poverty Law Center to help us
realize this is your Democrat Party thinking the worst of the country, and when they knew the truth was opposite. They were willing to paint the country racist, you as racist, to forward their political objectives.
Keep track
it's real.
of the movements of violent white supremacy in the country. The Southern Poverty Law Center has been a vigilant voice in civil society against radical white nationalists.
Yeah, they called TBUSA racist. Moms for America racist.
Violence and extremism, neo-Nazism, and other forces across the political spectrum that spread.
They were working together.
Organized hate from any quarter.
They paid for the organized hate.
The president, however, wants to undermine civil society organizations. And to reduce our ability to defend ourselves.
Well, it was all by gigantic. I mean, how many ways can you count the evil of the Democrat Party, for God's sake? How many ways can you count how evil these frickin' people are? If you're a Democrat, please, you've got to do something about the leadership of your party, because you're on the wrong side of history and hell. I'm telling you. This is Susan Cork for 2022 with the SPLC. Again, calling us racist, when we don't care about skin color. If you're a black man on the side of the road, 10 MAGA supporters will stop by to help you out, never considering your skin color. They don't care about your skin color. Meanwhile, the Democrat Party is obsessed with race.
I think by labeling that this is one of the biggest existential threats that is facing our democracy.
No, it's not.
I don't want to be an alarmist,
never was.
But we're in a really precarious place.
You bought and paid for it.
Trends that we're watching that are really troubling are that this has become mainstream. These extreme, hateful, anti-democratic.
Now she's going to call us racist.
Beliefs are now thoroughly infecting the mainstream, in particular the Republican. And Biden has been very clear about separating out the MAGA.
There you
American Republicans.
There you go.
Our polling has shown that the majority, 7 out of 10 Republicans, believe the Great Replacement theory, which is a very dangerous white supremacist.
No, it's not actually. It's just all the illegals that came in here and Democrats loading them up free stuff so they'll vote Democrat.
Racist ideology, and that the idea of violence has become very normalized. These MAGA Republicans.
Violence comes nearly exclusively. In fact, I'll just go ahead and say exclusively from the left.
Leaders and hate groups. And so this mainstreaming that the majority of Republicans also believe that violence against opponents is okay. And they also believe that a civil war is headed our way. So by Biden really putting a stake in the sand and saying this.
Wow, what an awful organization. Here's CNN deceptively editing Donald Trump's speech, saying that racism has no place in America, particularly in Charlottesville, but they made it sound like he supported it. This is how filthy, and this was locked and loaded. They fed it to the press. Jake Tapper gobbled it up like a little bird, mama bird, puking her stomach contents into his mouth.
And I'm not talking about the neo-Nazis and the white nationalists, because they should be condemned totally. But you had many people in that group other than neo-Nazis and white nationalists, okay? I've condemned neo-Nazis. I've condemned many different groups.
It's right there.
But not all of those people
right there
were neo-Nazis, believe me.
Yeah.
Not all of those people were white supremacists.
There you go.
You also had people that were very fine people on both sides.
There's the edit.
You had people in that group, excuse me, I saw the same pictures as you did.
Wow.
Those are the receipts. Why doesn't President Trump condemn racism? His own words and actions tell you why.
Because why?
He's a racist.
Oh, of course.
Okay, I'm being told we have it. Thank you. Run it, please.
Excuse me, to protest. Excuse me, they didn't look themselves down as you. And you had some very bad people in that group. But you also had people that were very fine people on both sides.
That was President Trump saying that very fine people were marching alongside neo-Nazis.
I got to tell you. Oh, man, oh, man, oh, man. Wow, just wow. Like I said, I'm fed up to here with this bull crap. I'm fed up with it. This is why I say 80% of us believe the country headed in the wrong direction. 80% of us can come together to save her. And this sort of nonsense is just done with it. Cash Patel got hit by the Atlantic. They say he's a drunk. Now, of course, he's captured 7 of the top 10 America's most wanted FBI on the FBI most wanted list. Reduced murder to the lowest rate it's been over 100 years. Rescued kids who have been kidnapped and trafficked over the border for sex and whatnot. Cleaning house in America, making crime rates go down. Here's what Dan Bongino says about that hit piece and why it came out and why Democrats want him removed.
Patel, the bullshit by the Atlantic, which I addressed yesterday, is going to make a lot more sense in the coming weeks and months. I can't give you a definitive timeline. I'm on the outside now. However, I can tell you what I know is going on because
this is the retribution they're afraid of.
Because I started a lot of it. It's going to make a lot more sense real soon as to why the left-wing media and the Democrats want Cash Patel out. You're going to find out, as they say in the South, right quick about why they need him out like now.
And here's Ted Lieu. I met this little punk in the Capitol. He's a diminutive little human piece of feces. Here he is yesterday talking about how Cash Patel must go because of this hit piece by The Atlantic featuring unnamed sources.
And Cash Patel is next. Cash Patel flew on tax.
Where's Eric Swalwell, you jackweed?
Taxpayers' dime to the Olympics and on taxpayers' dime, partied and drank.
Oh, dude, if I was at the Olympics with the U.S. Olympic team, I might consider drinking. I'm serious. I'd be there to party my butt off.
At the Olympics. He's also instilled a culture of fear at the FBI, and he
They
lied
should be afraid of the FBI.
about the Epstein investigation.
No, he didn't.
When he said that there was no credible evidence that Epstein trafficked any victim to third parties. There's mountains of such evidence.
Unbelievable. Here is the gargoyle with osteoporosis, Chuck Schumer. Of course, he wants Patel gone because this is the retribution they're afraid of.
On Cash Patel. The American people.
I hate to tell you this: if somebody in Washington D.C. in leadership is kicked out for getting drunk, you're going to have to rehire everybody.
People expect competence from the president's cabinet.
And they are. They're awesome.
Not the unmitigated and continuing chaos we see every
You mean like the lowering the murder rate to the lowest in like 100 years?
day.
Yeah.
Over the weekend, more damning reports about FBI Director Cash Patel's disorderly, drunken, and deranged behavior came to light. The Atlantic's reporting only confirmed what Senate Democrats have said from the start.
What's that?
Cash Patel is not simply unqualified. He's a grave risk to the rule of law.
No, he's a grave risk to the deep state and the people who have perpetrated this nonsense, gone after Donald Trump and his followers, Arctic frost, Russia collusion, etc. This is the retribution they're afraid of. This is why Donald Trump stopped using the word retribution in the 2024 campaign. He called it accountability. But it is accountability and retribution for all of the bullcrap they did to Donald Trump and to us. And it's coming home to roost. And if they think that an Atlantic article featuring unnamed sources about Cash Patel being drunk or getting drunk is going to stop it, they're high. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show. Hey guys, it's Carson. If you are on Medicare or about to be, you could be overpaying right now and never know it. Here's why. Millions of seniors are in a plan that doesn't fit their needs. Because Medicare is complicated, many brokers just steer people into plans that pay them the most. That's absurd. That is so absurd, I decided to write a little slogan for it. Medicare sure ain't fair, and choosing a plan is a bear. Pick a plan with a broker if you dare, and you might end up with a scare. Okay, listen, it's a little rough. You need to know about Chapter. They're the only national advisor that looks at every plan in the country, matches your doctors, your prescriptions, and your situation to a plan that fits your needs. With Chapter, you'll see what a plan actually costs when you need it, not just the $0 some plans advertise. Your doctors are covered and your prescriptions are too. You'll have confidence you have the coverage you need. A call with Chapter is free, takes about 20 minutes. If you're turning 65 or already on Medicare, call 27 Medicare. Again, that's 27 MEDICARE. Call 27 Medicare today.
Mom Donnie, a socialist. Mom Donnie, a communist. He's a fan of a muss. His win will be New York's loss. He's an extremist, you bet, as New York's gonna get taxed like never before. When Mom Donnie is done, the city will run every grocery store. He'll defund the police, and crime will increase as the murder rate begins to soar. Mom Donnie, anti-Jew, he despises Netanyahu. It is really a sin. New Yorkers voted him in. They'll regret that they helped him win. Somalis are all on welfare, and the Dems just seem to not care. Ilhan Omar, she needs to go. GTFO, GTFO, GTFO. Many are anti-Semitic. Their statements have been pathetic. They're a threat to all you know. GTFO, GTFO, GTFO. They are always expressing hate of America. Why are they here? Must deport before it's too late. Talk about holiday cheer. Our language, they will not learn it. Own money, refuse to earn it. They are gaming the system so. GTFO, GTFO, GTFO.
Talk Radio 680 WCBM at 99.9 FM in Harford County.
Good.
The media and our friends in the Democrat Party kept saying we needed new legislation. We must have legislation to secure the border. But it turned out that all we really needed was a new president.
This is Patel responding to an article that he drinks in the Atlantic featuring unnamed sources. Like that's going to be enough to remove him as the FBI director.
As those before me.
Can you say definitively that you have not been intoxicated or absent during your tenure as FBI director?
I can say unequivocally that I never listen to the fake news mafia.
What you got?
And as when they get louder, it just means I'm doing my job.
Yep.
This FBI director has been on the job twice as many days as every director before me. What that means is I've taken half as many days off as those before me.
Yep.
What that means is I've taken a third less vacation than those before me. What that means is that this FBI with this Department of Justice has dropped the murder rate 20 points. What that means is this FBI with this Department of Justice has captured 8 of the top 10 most wanted fugitives in the world, twice as many as the Biden administration did in its entire 4 years. What that means is this FBI has seized enough fentanyl off the streets to kill 178 million Americans, a 31% increase. What that means is this FBI and this DOJ has arrested 43% more spies in 14 months than the entirety of the Biden administration. What that means is this FBI has seen a reduction in opiate overdose deaths up to 20%.
And the Biden administration did D-word for Richard about all of that. So there you go. It's not going to work. Nice try. Nice try. Oh, let's get the Atlantic. The Atlantic will take him down for drinking. Woo, in Washington, D.C. Nobody drinks in Washington, D.C. Oh, my God, it's so fantastic. So utterly, utterly ridiculous and stupid. Absolutely stupid. I don't know. Maybe they're just trying to distract from stuff that's getting out there. For instance, I don't know, hacking the 2020 election. John Solomon and Eli Crane talking about that.
All right, sir, you served in uniform on the front lines. You know the threats we face. When you hear that our intelligence community kept from the American public, from the Congress, some significant vulnerabilities in our 2020 election system. That's what
from China. China had corrupted the voter rolls in 2020. Tulsi Gabbard just released the classified information. It's true.
These documents, Tulsi Gabbard declassified, show that they also knew that China had penetrated multiple state voter registration databases and did untoward things with the data. But they kept that from us, and then they sold us a bill of goods saying, most secure election in history, which clearly these documents show you won't. What goes to your mind?
Kind of weird because Joe Biden got $35 million from the Chinese Communist Party to 27 LLCs and 9 family members. Isn't that weird? And the Penn Biden Center got $165 million from the Chinese Communist Party.
Why don't we need to have an intelligence?
I'm thinking they wanted him in office.
I mean, that tells us the truth.
100%, John. And, honestly, it just confirms what many of us have believed for a long time. I never for a second believed that, Joe Biden got 81 million votes, over 10 more.
That's disinformation.
10 million more than Barack Obama got. I think almost 15 million more than Hillary Clinton got. I mean, I remember people being excited about, Barack Obama, even though I clearly didn't like him. but nobody was excited about Joe Biden.
No.
And I mean, the Democrats were obviously, that was a time during COVID, they were pushing the mail-in ballots, which we all know are the easiest way to inject fraud into an election system. Meanwhile, we've got these machines.
I'm thinking this is why the Democrats want to get rid of Cash Patel. Yeah. They shut us down for a very long time. And we had to go through the indignity of having our nose rubbed in the crap they left on the ground. That's where the Democrat, they left one on the floor and then rubbed our nose in it. Here's Eli Crane on the Democrat Party. And this is something that I've been echoing. The Democrat Party cannot win elections because their ideas are insane. So they have to cheat.
I feel like we're seeing the exact same thing with the SAVE Act right now. The Democrats do not want us to have secure elections. That's why they will not, even though it's a 80-plus, 80-20 issue, they do not want non-citizens voting in our elections. That's why they won't pick up the SAVE Act, Save America Act. And, it's just, we're seeing the same thing. I mean, there's no other excuse. They'll try and act like, oh, well, these guys can't, it's unfair. It'll, deprive people from voting. That is complete nonsense. And it's not a surprise to me as well, because honestly, their policies have gotten so crazy, that I don't feel, and many up here don't feel, that they could win a fair election anyway.
Told ya! Oh, here's something else Cash Patel's looking into.
There is new data out suggesting that some of the donors that have contributed to the Democratic Party have been mostly untraceable and unemployed. New data obtained exclusively by FoxNews.com shows that a big chunk of donations to the Democratic fundraising platform Act Blue, 4.7 million of them were from people who don't list any employer. The data also shows that last year, almost half of the donors to Biden's campaign were listed as unemployed. By comparison, for the Trump campaign, only 2% of donors last year claimed no employer.
Yeah. I told you baptism by fire has got to happen if we're going to survive another 250 years, and the throes of this are going to be difficult. What they did in Virginia yesterday is not going to stand. The throes of this, the battle between good and evil, is going to get ugly. We are going to save our Republic in its 250th year. We are going to. Hell yeah. Can I get an amen? I can hear him right now. You betcha. You betcha. Have you signed up for the Learn and Earn event at Birch Gold? It's coming up on the end of the month. School's going to be out for summer. If you want to learn more about gold while earning precious metals, earning some silver and whatnot, all you got to do is just text my name, Rob, to 989898 for Birch Gold. They got this Learn and Earn event. It's online. It's very simple, and they're not pressuring you. They just want you to get more educated, or if you're a Democrat, edumacated about precious metals so you can pull the trigger on it. I don't know if you knew this, but a couple of years ago, gold was $2,600 an ounce. It went to $5,600 an ounce. It's right now, it's pushing $5,000. So that was real. It's been real for a very long time. And Birch Gold doesn't want you to be left behind, but they want you to be educated before you pull the trigger. Text my name, Rob, to 989898 for Birch Gold's Learn and Earn event. It doesn't get better than this. A company saying, we want you to learn, we're not going to pressure you, and then when you decide to do it, we will appreciate your business because Birch Gold is a great company. I've got my money with them as well. Text Rob to 989898 for Birch Gold. The one and only Hillary Fordwich, keynote speaker, GBN and Newsmax contributor, on the way to talk about Great Britain and Keir Starmer's House of Cards collapsing. Don't go anywhere. Hey guys, it's Rob Carson for Relief Factor. There's a reason why at my age I can still crush it at the gym, carry an armchair by myself, or do any home improvement project without pain during or after, and that's Relief Factor. When it comes to supplements, the two things that matter most, it works and you trust it. Relief Factor was created by a combat-wounded Vietnam veteran. He decided to become a doctor simply to help people, to heal them. If pain is holding you back, find out why so many people, including me, make Relief Factor a part of their daily routine. Try the 3-week quick start today. Go to ReliefFactor.com. That's ReliefFactor.com. Or call 800-4RELIEF. That's 800-4RELIEF for Relief Factor.
Deported. 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 Get them out. Ready? Are you ready? Get them out of here. Get them out of here. Get the hell out of here. Deported. 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 Get them out. Ready? Are you ready? Get them out of here. Get them out of here. Get the hell out of here.
Hey guys, it's Rob Carson for Relief Factor. Hey guys, it's Carson. I just got a ghost bed. Yeah, no, pay attention here, because I've been sleeping on a foam mattress since I moved to the Washington, D.C. area, which is like sleeping on the sponge in your sink. Ghost Bed doesn't build mattresses like furniture. They build engineered sleep systems. Their beds are serious health equipment. Beds designed for relief and recovery, not looks, not fluff. Your body should be healing while you sleep, not fighting for comfort. I have been sleeping past 7 a.m. on my Ghost Bed. It's unbelievable. If you wake up stiff, you toss and turn, if you sleep hot, even reaching for a pain reliever before bed, hoping tonight will be different, that's
him, he defended him, and now he claims to know nothing. He is gaslighting the nation. So let's call this out for what it is. The Prime Minister is a barefaced liar, and if you had any decency left...
Order. Sit and leave. Leave now. I'll name you otherwise.
I'm going to leave. What the hell?
Leave. I'm not... Leave. I've no name. I've given the option to leave. I'd leave if I were you very quickly. Move before I read it and give me one option. Right, give me that. You have no duties. It's my duty to carry out and control this.
Wow, meanwhile, in Congress in America, you can shake your walking stick and call the president a fascist and a Nazi. Not in Great Britain, no. You cannot call Keir Starmer a liar. Unbelievable. I thought of Hillary Fordwich when I saw this drama happening in the House of Commons, and she joins us on the Newsmax hotline. She is a contributor on GBN News, Newsmax contributor, keynote speaker, I might add, and you can find her on Twitter, I should say X, at Hillary Fordwich. How are you on this glorious Wednesday, Hillary?
Well, I hope when you thought of me, Rob, with all that drama, you didn't think I'm too dramatic, but you're right. It's a ghastly situation. Thank you for inviting me today.
Now, what this is all about, Keir Starmer covering up Lord Mendelsohn when he, they say, failed vetting Lord Mendelsohn before they considered him for a position when he had an involvement with Jeffrey Epstein. Why don't you clear up what's going on with this?
Yes, well, you're absolutely right there, Rob. The reason this is important to our audience is, think about nations across the world. One of our most important allies has always been, historically, Great Britain. And, of course, for Great Britain, the most important special relationship they have, and this is, special relationship backwards and forwards across the pond, is the U.S. So to even contemplate that the British Prime Minister, Sir Keir Starmer, didn't know that this position was so important, of course, is ridiculous. He knew it was so important. Now, what did he know and what didn't he know? That's the question. And he changed his answers numerous times. Now it is purported, and actually I'll give credit to the Guardian newspaper, they were the first ones that reported a while ago that actually Lord Mandelson, who ended up being appointed as the ambassador to the U.S., did not pass his vetting, and he was still appointed. That's what's at issue. What did Keir Starmer know? When did he know it? And now, basically, because as you mentioned, I'm on GB News, I know this because this Labour MP was a member of Parliament, so that's the same party as the Prime Minister. His own party members, so in America it would be like a Democrat calling for a Democratic president to resign. One of their Labour MPs has said it's not if, but when he should resign, and that was the Labour MP, Jonathan Brash, and then two others have come on board. So basically what you're seeing is the entire party of Sir Keir Starmer, the Labour Party now, is beginning to rebel because they're disgusted.
Now you're talking about resigning the Mendelsohn or Starmer?
Sir Keir Starmer. It's a question, not a question of
I hope so.
if, it's a question of when.
Well, I saw this the other day. Starmer pressured Foreign Office into granting security clearance for Mendelsohn. His chief of staff said, just effing approve it. Wow.
Yes, and I will say there's been this amazing actually testimony by Ollie Robinson, who is the civil servant who's testified, and he said that that's what they were pressured to push this through to get it done, and what they wanted was Mandelson in position before the inauguration, and they viewed that he would be able to deal well with Donald Trump. What kind of judgment is that, given his friendship with Epstein?
Unbelievable. This is a little audio from Reform member Lee Anderson, who decided to stick up for Sarah Sultana and was booted as well.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The problem the Prime Minister's got is no one believes him. The public don't believe him. The MPs on this side of the House don't believe him. His own gullible backbenchers don't believe him. So does the Prime Minister agree with me? He's been lying.
What? Prime Minister. So I guess, I always love watching the House of Commons because you guys really get into it. You duke it out. But I guess calling somebody a liar is verboten?
Yes, and I think he should have said he didn't state the truth. He should have said it in different words.
Gotcha.
Because that's considered denigrating someone's personality.
Gotcha.
And of course, obviously, innocent until proven guilty originated with English common law. So it's considered just de rigueur. One does not do that. But I will say in this circumstance, he should have picked his words more carefully, and he should have said something like, he's prevaricated, or he's misrepresented the truth on a different occasion. He could have said it in many different ways, but yes, that term is not acceptable.
Not acceptable, but everybody thinks it is. So basically, you're saying that Keir Starmer, there's a lot of this dynamic going on with Eric Swalwell. I'm not saying that Keir Starmer is associated in that fashion. However, it's everybody on Capitol Hill, I think, knew about it. It sounds like everybody knew that Keir Starmer knew this guy this Mendelsohn was a scumbag. It's like, when it came to the prince the man formerly known as Prince, Andrew, the Andrew formerly known as Prince. That's what I'm going to call him from now on. Everybody knew about his scumbaggery, but it took forever to have it, come out.
That's exactly right. And basically, Sir Keir Starmer, I mean, he's been battling for his political survival just ever since it's even emerged that Mandelson didn't pass that security vetting. And the thing is that this is the issue at hand, though. Sir Keir Starmer said at one point that he was not informed about the vetting failure.
Sure.
And then he had previously told the House of Commons, and of course the great thing about social media and documentation, it's all on record. He told them on several occasions that, in quotes, due process had been followed. Wow. So what this Labour MP, Jonathan Brash, has added, he said he has been talking about that he's so angry because now, I mean, basically we're in a situation where nobody can reasonably expect the Prime Minister to lead a party into the next election with having misrepresented things backwards and forwards different times. That's sort of the issue at hand now. So, and he was asked, does he think that Keir Starmer is going to resign before the next election, number 10, and he said no. So I don't think he's going to resign. It's going to take basically a no confidence vote or sort of an uprising, because he's not going to. Sir Keir Starmer doesn't resign. Sir Keir Starmer is hanging on with his teeth and his claws.
Well, what's his popularity like? It can't be good considering the nonsense happening in Great Britain with regard to radical Islam, the opening of the borders, like what happened here, the economy, etc. What's his popularity like right now?
Well, actually, that's a very good question, because a YouGov poll just came out last night, which talked about there's going to be these what are in England called by-elections, which would be most similar, kind of the term is similar to our midterms, not a general election for the actual, party at hand, but local elections. And in the by-elections, this YouGov poll basically says in London that Labour's at its lowest popularity ever, with the surge of reform, Nigel Farage's party,
Boom.
of course, and the Green Party.
Yeah, unfortunately.
The Green Party, and I think what it is that a lot of just former Labour voters, so in America it would be like Democratic voters, are just turning to this other alternative, Green,
I know.
As a different alternative.
Well, it's the same dynamic here. You got people turning in Canada the New Democrat Party. You got people in America turning toward Zoran Mandami's version of socialism. It's that same damn dynamic that's going on. On the other side of the break, Hillary. I have a friend named Erica Hillary. I always call you. I don't know why. Hillary. On the other side of the break, I want to talk about British lack of action with regard to helping us out in the Strait of Hormuz. What exactly happened in London when you guys discovered that Iran could launch a missile 2,500 miles? On the other side of the break, if you could hold on, let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show.
99.9 FM in Harford County.
We are talking about Great Britain. Hopefully we'll be great again with Hillary Ford, which she's a keynote speaker, Newsmax contributor, GB News contributor, friend of the show, by the way. Hillary, what is your response to Great Britain's reaction to asking America for some help deposing the Ayatollah in its action during Epic Fury?
Well, thank you for your kind introduction there, Rob. Yes. And I would say that I would like to make the distinction between Great Britain, our historic, wonderful, and very special relationship with the U.S., versus the current Prime Minister, Sir Keir Starmer. I think it's very different. It's rather like when President Obama said when the British were voting for Brexit, if you vote for Brexit, you're going to go to the back of the line for anything and any trade deal with the U.S. He was obviously anti-Brexit, and he interfered with British politics, and he wasn't pro-UK at all. In fact, he actually took down the bust of Winston Churchill from the White House.
Yes.
He was anti-British, and now what you have is a Keir Starmer who's basically a globalist, and he is anti-Trump, even though he actually did do a good job of trying to get a trade deal. He seemed to get along well with Trump, and I think that's more actually President Trump making sure to try and get along with him. But he's decidedly... He makes, left-leaning liberals look conservative, actually. Very, very left-leaning. So I would like to make that distinction. Now, having said that, obviously, this is ridiculous because who does Great Britain think, if you break up with your best friend, a special relationship with the U.S., who do you think is going to come to the help and the side of Great Britain? Yes. Oh, would it be France? No. Would it be Germany? No. The French, who, by the way, send over all those migrants that you referred to. Would it be China? No. Would it be Russia? No. Who on earth is going to come to the side of Great Britain? So this is a foolish mistake. It's not calculated, which Keir Starmer normally is, and I think it's a great pity. And I will say, I'm English-born, as your audience might be able to tell from my accent, but I'm a proud American, and I've always been proud of my English heritage.
Yes.
At the current time, I'm actually beyond disappointed and aghast with the policies and with what's happening over there.
Well, I'll have you know that I did my DNA test, and I always thought I was Irish, English, and German. It turns out I'm English, Irish, and German.
No wonder we get along.
There you go. There you go. But, what about the uprisings that are happening in Ireland? What about, people in Great Britain who are sick and damn tired of the Islamist takeover of the country, of the burqa wearing? Do you suppose, as in the United States, you have traditionalists, you have foundational Brits who are sick and damn tired of all this, the same going in Ireland as well?
Well, I think to a certain degree you're correct, and to a certain degree I think it's too little too late.
You think so?
There are communities where overnight they move in young men of fighting age, single men, into these communities, hundreds of yards from the playgrounds of little children going to school. There have been numerous rapes. The rape rate has, I think it's up by 1,675%.
Unbelievable.
So but what happens is there are these protests and then nothing much happens. And this is what actually has happened as a result of the protests. There's a very famous incident where there was a local protest outside of a hotel in Epping in Essex, which is a county close to London. Mm-hmm. And because of these protests, of course, when the immigrants come and they were put up in these 4-star hotels, it's in quotes, an easy target because, all the locals know they're in this one place. So now, what could be worse than that? One step worse, Rob, and this should make every member of our audience shudder. Now what they're doing is they're going to landlords of private properties saying, we'll give you 5 years' rent. They're doubling the rent. We'll say we'll pay for all repairs. Yes. So if you're somebody who owns a property, 5 years guaranteed rent, double the going rate. So now they're spreading out all these migrants all across the country in these individual houses because then it's, you're not going to have a mass protest for 2 people in a house. But what's happening as a result, and I know this not only from reading, from research, from data, but my daughter lives in London, is now the rental prices are going through the roof.
Yes. It happened here. The same damn thing happened here. Hillary, my God. Let's move on. I want to ask you. So, Great Britain, a lot of the EU, the NATO, they didn't believe that that Iran was a threat. Turns out they had 10 to 11 nuclear warheads worth of uranium, and they launched a missile 2,500 miles. Then I didn't hear a whole lot from the EU. Coming from a country that was bombed nearly into oblivion by the Nazis, what did that do? Did that send a shiver down the spine of Europe, particularly London?
Well, you would think that it should, Rob, but even now, still, I think current politicians across Europe are more concerned with their electoral base, and their electoral base, it's kind of like we've got the same thing happening in different districts here, where you have an electoral base who's against the government policy. We've seen after the, obviously October 7th in America, we saw all these, Free Palestine protests.
Yep.
So I think that they're more concerned with the most immediate thing, which is their electoral base. And you'd think that they'd be terrified because any of those missiles from Iran, yes, could hit pretty much any European capital.
But they're self-loathing leftists. That's it. They're self-loathing leftists. That's what they are.
And I would just add to that, I would say leftist globalists.
100%. All right, listen, we got to go. Hillary Fordwich, such a pleasure having you on. You are on Twitter at Hillary Fordwich. You do public speaking as well. Where can people find out more about you other than Hillary Fordwich on Twitter?
Oh, thank you so much for the opportunity. Yes, you can go to LinkedIn. You'll see us there on LinkedIn. And my website, just Google my name and my website will come up. And I look forward to another time. And thank you.
Well, I'm looking forward to. We went on a walk one time. I went on a walk with Hillary when I first moved here. She welcomed me here, and you walked my feet off. So I've been training. I've been training for our next walk.
Okay, well, how about this? One time I can come back and I can talk to our audience about health, wellness, and longevity. Haven't been to a doctor since my youngest son was born 24 years ago. No cough, no cold, never get sick. There's no reason to get sick, and I can tell your audience how to be healthy and live long.
And you have no fun when you dine out. I know that. So
I have a lot of fun when I dine out.
All right, we'll talk again.
Alcohol to have fun, something's wrong.
We'll talk again soon. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show. Hillary's she's interesting. She was very kind. I met her. We were at a Nigel Farage GB News event, and I'd seen her on TV, and I introduced myself. And then I met her, and we went for a walk on the Potomac to Great Falls. She wanted to show me the Great Falls. I hadn't seen them forever. That girl walked my arse off. She goes, it's like, what are you doing? Slow down. But we had a very nice time meeting her. Very nice time meeting her. She's dynamic, and she's a dynamic and motivational person. She's a very interesting character as well. All right, who's watching? It looks like... Oh, I got to get a song parody here. I think we need a song parody. Yeah, I'm going to do a song parody here. Let me get this real quick. I apologize. We've got to focus on talking on the air, too, while doing all of this. Let's see. Miggy Hastings, Deplorable Dinosaur. Commercial still playing a lot. I don't know what that is. I don't know what that's going on in the background. You got to talk to Ken about that. Dookie Bear, I'm here, Rob. Well, good. Proud to be a Jew. How's it going, Beck Ottenberry? I know she is fun, isn't he? Isn't she? She is a Spitfire. She's not to be trifled with. I'll just tell you that. Hello, Kirster. Thanks for reposting the stream on Twitter. Diana NU8494. Thank you too. Do appreciate you, Sean Kirster. Thank you so much. How is Starmer still leading? Well, he just is. How did Joe Biden remain in the presidency for 4 years? Starmer's going to go bye-bye. When Nigel Farage takes over, it's going to be, I hope, hopefully fantastic. But I'm sure he'll get a lot of shit like they do to Donald Trump. Here we go.
We have some voodoo.
Come on. Of all the versions of Voodoo Child, I have heard it my entire life, and I've heard a million of them. This is number 3. Turn it up. Tom Morello, formerly of Audio Slave and Rage Against the Machine. Listen to him. He owns it. And he does it without vocals. Unbelievable. Number 1 is going to be Jimi Hendrix. Number 2, Stevie Ray Vaughan. Number 3 is going to be Tom Morello. Number 4 is going to be Frank Marino, you've never heard of. I watched his concert that he recorded, I think it was 1980 last night, when I wanted to turn off the election news when I knew that we were going to lose this ridiculous gerrymandering nonsense in the state of Virginia. We have not sold out the trip yet. We still got some seats remaining. October 25th to the 29th, 5 days, 4 nights, Washington, D.C. Donald Trump's only going to be the president this time right now. It's only going to be the 250th anniversary of America right here, right now, as Van Halen used to say, right here, right now. Come and join me for 5 days, 4 nights as we tour all of the monuments. We do a White House Visitor Center tour, U.S. Capitol Building, Arlington National Cemetery, Changing the Guard, travelwithrob.net. Travelwithrob.net if you want to join me. Get signed up, get the information. I know a lot of you have downloaded the pamphlet. Pull the trigger. Book the trip. Travelwithrob.net. So another Democrat leaves Congress. Sheila Sheriff-Phyllis McCormick stole $5 million in money from FEMA, and she finally decided to pull out right before the ethics hearing yesterday and claimed that it was a witch hunt. It wasn't. No, she's crooked as hell, and now she's out.
Miss McCormick, she resigned to dodge an ethics probe. News of her corruption had spread around the globe.
Spending on all sorts of stuff.
With $1 million here
and $1 million there. Hey.
Sheila was stealing from everywhere.
Come on.
Miss McCormick's facing trial. To prison she could go.
Goodbye.
FEMA Sheila ripped off bad.
$5 million.
Forced her to step down. From the Congress she'll depart. She'll be leaving town.
Yeah, baby.
To Miami she'll return. A lengthy sentence she will earn.
Fingers crossed.
Guilty, the jury will say. Sheila, they will haul away.
Come on.
Miss McCormick's facing trial. Down she's gonna go.
There you go. Jim Gossett, another great standard on the Rob Carson Show. This is why we're the number 10 political commentary podcast in the United States, behind people like Dan Bongino and Ben Shapiro. Yeah, this little show right here. You did it. Thank you. Thank you so much. This is one of the reasons why, because we make a point with humor while doing leading edge opinion. And we do lead on opinion, believe it or not. We're way ahead of the competition. We got another hour of the show to go. We're going to get into Ilhan Omar, her crookedness. Hopefully she'll be denaturalized and deported without a penny in her pocket. We'll see. Let's take a break and come back. Last hour of the Rob Carson Show out ahead. Don't go anywhere.
No blind rhetoric.
No talking down to me.
Don't tell me how to think.
Don't tell me how to think. Don't tell me how to think.
I trust Newsmax. Newsmax.
They don't tell me how to think. They let me decide.
Real news for real people.
Hold it now.
You are about to hear the most interesting, informative, thought-provoking, and funny show in America. On air and on the World Wide Web. This is the Rob Carson Show.
This is the Rob Carson Show. We have so much to get to, so little time. It's kind of, I don't know. I've been kind of praying for a slow news day for about 6 years now, and it's never happening. It's never happening. A lot of people are very concerned about what happened in Virginia yesterday with this gerrymandering vote. It has been halted by a court in Virginia, and hopefully will go to the Supreme Court. And so I'm choosing not to get too wrecked about it, to be quite honest. I'm not going to let it. Listen, dude, what have we been through? And thanks for repeating the bumper music, Brian. That was great. I can't get enough of that bumper music. It's fantastic. What have we been through? What the hell have we been through? We've been through hell and back. We went through a fake impeachment of Donald Trump, lie about Russia collusion, went through 3 years of hell, the lie about Hunter Biden's laptop, then shutting our speech down, declaring our speech disinformation and misinformation, destroying our presence on social media, making it so none of us could monetize on social media, having our Facebook pages, our social media pages taken down or shadow banned for thought, because they determined that your thought was disinformation, which is what Joseph Stalin called it. And then, of course, the 4 years between after Joe Biden stole the damned election, and I could say it now. I'm just done. Freaking done with it. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. All of this nonsense. People tell you can't say that, Rob. You can't say. Yeah, I can say it. I can say it. Dear God, I can freaking say it. I'm tired of not being able to say it. And then, of course, we had to go through 4 political trials of Donald Trump. He had to go out and bust his rear end and go out and campaign and then go sit in a courtroom for a bunch of nonsense. Then this crazy woman, accused him of rape, even though she didn't know what year it was, and there are no witnesses, and won $90 million. And then they tried to murder him. So I'm thinking that Democrats rigging an election after promising they wouldn't do it is kind of a fart in a Cat 5 hurricane compared to what else we've been through. And you know what? All we do is we just become resolved. The left throws temper tantrums. We become resolved. And I'm telling you, this is going to go to the Supreme Court. And if that doesn't work, we're going to blockade friggin' Richmond with tractors, and tractor trailers. How's that sound? I think it sounds like a pretty good idea. I think it sounds like a pretty dang good idea. They want to do what they're doing over in Ireland. Because, Donald Trump's going to be the president for the next couple of years. They try this nonsense. If they supposedly think they're going to win the midterms and all of this, we'll just blockade the damned Capitol. Because, they tried to stop us when we did that. They stopped us before when Joe Biden was the president and all these COVID things. We tried to do what happened in Ottawa, but the D.C. police and that whatnot shut down the exits going into D.C. so we couldn't have our voice heard. So we couldn't express our opinions online. The liberal media lied about us, covered everything up, and then they shut down our ability to protest. So I'm thinking we can beat this. Here is John Solomon talking about the latest revelations from Tulsi Gabbard and the DNI.
Turns out that months before the 2020 presidential election, U.S. intelligence agencies issued a secret but stark warning that foreign adversaries had the capability to compromise America's voting infrastructure. And it raised specific concerns about something we've been talking about on the show, that the voter registration databases of states were extremely vulnerable. By the way, those voter databases, as we reported a few weeks ago, would eventually be penetrated by 2 of our enemies, China and Iran.
There you go. But no, it was the most it was the most secure election in history. There's no voter fraud. Shut up. That's why I came up with the expression, because I'm not stupid. Just ridiculous. So he says, Wild Bill West says, bring them some liquid fertilizer. You mean like they're doing over in the farmers are doing over in the police stations and whatnot in Ireland, spraying some of that cow manure in front of the houses of politics over there. Yeah, I don't know if we need to do that, but definitely I'm thinking a blockade might be considered eventually. I'm just saying as a last-ditch effort, but I'm just kind of done playing with this nonsense. I'm just done playing with these stupid people. I'm not going to be pushed around anymore. Not going to be pushed around anymore. Let's talk a little bit about Iran. Let's talk about Iran here. Here is Caroline Levitt talking about the latest ceasefire. Donald Trump doesn't want to blow up their infrastructure because he knows that the people will suffer. The people of Iran will suffer. And so we haven't dropped a bomb on them, in the words of the Gap Band. You dropped a bomb on me. Yet.
I think it was a very, very strong threat from the President of the United States that led the Iranian regime to cave to their knees and ask for a ceasefire and agree to reopening the Strait of Hormuz. So it was a very strong threat that led to results. And as the Secretary of War stated at the Pentagon this morning, it was not an empty threat by any means. The Pentagon had a target list that they were ready to hit go on at 8 p.m. last night if the Iranian regime had not agreed to open the strait, which they did. And I think that's something we should all be grateful for.
Yeah, there you go. That's from Newsmax, by the way. I work at Newsmax. Newsmax kicks butt, by the way. Newsmax is amazing. You should download the Newsmax app. You should watch Newsmax every day. It's fantastic. John Kennedy. Here's John Kennedy talking about what Iran had planned for the rest of the world. And everybody gets this now. The Democrats lied about it, said there's nothing there. BS.
The Supreme Leader was going to stockpile all these new missiles and these new drones. And then he was going to turn to America and Israel and the rest of the world and say, I'm restarting the nuclear program.
Yeah.
And you can bomb me. You can bomb us if you want to. But we've got all these missiles, and some of these missiles can reach Berlin and Paris and London and Turkey, and we're going to use them. First thing we're going to do is destroy the Middle East. We don't care. We're Charles Manson.
Yeah.
We're going to destroy the Middle East.
Yeah.
And then we're going to start on anybody else that we're mad at. We couldn't let that happen.
Keep the joy in your heart about the potential freedom for the Iranian people. Don't let these jerks bring you down, particularly if you're an Iranian expat. You've been praying for this your entire life. Don't let them get you down. Don't let them get you down. Overwhelm the left with joy and patriotism and faith. 100%. Here is Victor Davis Hanson, because you know our media and our Democrat Party, Chris Murphy especially, literally when there was a rumor that some Iranian ships got past the blockade, he said bravo, or he said, way to go, whatever the hell he said. He's a treasonous, treacherous, wretched, evil man. And I got to tell you, you don't do this to our military. You don't do this. He is done. He will never be anything higher than he is right now in the U.S. government. Here is Victor Davis Hanson talking about how the Democrat Party and the media are helping the Ayatollahs.
That they have three choices. If they submit, they're going to be humiliated, so they don't want to do that, whoever's in charge. Or they can attack and send some missiles. If they do that, they're going to lose big time their infrastructure. Or I think the most viable, they think, is to drag this out and out. But Donald Trump still has 6 months before the midterms. I don't think they have more than 6 or 7 days until they're going to be broke. And we can even ramp that up. So all the cards are in our hands. The only thing they have for them, Laura, is they feel in this echo chamber of these rival cliques or they're running the government, they feel the American left or the anti-war movement when they hear
they're taking the side of the Ayatollahs without saying anything about all the people that were murdered. The 35,000 to 50,000 people were murdered. Same damn thing about October the 7th. The left forgot about that conveniently. Oh, you're on the wrong side of good.
What you just reported, that the U.S. Senator said it's awesome that their and that was false. Nobody got through, but he was echoing
talking about Chris Murphy.
In their propaganda. Or Tim Walz is over in Barcelona saying that this whole enterprise is fascistic.
You've stepped in it. You Democrats have stepped in it, man.
Or Tom Friedman says, well, he'd like Iran to lose, but not if it helps the Trump administration.
Yeah.
They hear all that, and so they magnify that, and they think, well, you know what, the left will if we can hold out to the midterms, the left will win and cut off.
Imagine what it does to our enemies to say that Donald Trump is a fascist and America is in crisis and whatever. I mean, if this would have happened in World War II, they would have been lined up against the wall for doing that in a time of a military conflict. I'm serious. 1,000%. How dare you? How dare you? John Fetterman talking to Chris Cuomo about how Democrats are doing their level best to convince Iran they can wait it out.
What these kind of war power votes continue to do, they keep teaching the Iranians we just have to last for 60 days.
Yeah.
I'm sure they consume the American media, and they must be elated the more every day, whether it's the New York Times and the other media outlets are effectively saying, all you have to do is just fast 60 days because we're going to walk away. We're going to lose our interest. We're going to lose our focus. So this is a profound inflection point in this situation. I would not going to be on the side to vote, say, well, let's just give up or now not demand Iran can't ever become a war power, a nuclear power. That's not a new thing for Democrats.
If Democrats would have gone on foreign soil in World War II, even though FDR was a Democrat and said, we're on the wrong side of history and this is an unjust war while World War II was happening, while we were attacking, fighting in Germany and France and the Pacific and all that, then it would have been considered treasonous. But this is what they're doing. This is what they're doing, and they're getting away with it. I'm done with it. And if you have a military member, if you have a son or daughter in the military, or you're the spouse of a military member, I don't know how you could ever forgive the Democrat Party for what they're doing right now, considering the overwhelming success we're having. But you know what? Good is going to win. That's the thing you got to remember. Good is going to win. God is on our side, 1,000%. Proud of our military, proud of our country. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show. Hey guys, it's Carson. If you are on Medicare or about to be, you could be overpaying right now and never know it. Here's why. Millions of seniors are in a plan that doesn't fit their needs. Because Medicare is complicated, many brokers just steer people into plans that pay them the most. That's absurd. That is so absurd, I decided to write a little slogan for it. Medicare sure ain't fair, and choosing a plan is a bear. Pick a plan with a broker if you dare, and you might end up with a scare. Okay, listen, it's a little rough. You need to know about Chapter. They're the only national advisor that looks at every plan in the country, matches your doctors, your prescriptions, and your situation to a plan that fits your needs. With Chapter, you'll see what a plan actually costs when you need it, not just the $0 some plans advertise. Your doctors are covered and your prescriptions are too. You'll have confidence you have the coverage you need. A call with Chapter is free, takes about 20 minutes. If you're turning 65 or already on Medicare, call 27-MEDICARE. Again, that's 27-MEDICARE. Call 27-MEDICARE today. By the way, the president read the Bible last night. Here's a little sample of it.
Thus Solomon finished the house of the Lord and the king's house, and all that came into Solomon's heart to make in the house of the Lord.
Yeah, this is from a builder, by the way. Donald Trump's a builder.
And in his own house he prosperously effected. And the Lord appeared to Solomon by night and said to him, I have heard your prayer and have chosen this place to myself for a house of sacrifice. If I shut up heaven, that there be no rain, or if I command the locusts to devour the land, or if I send pestilence among my people, if my people which are called by my name shall humble themselves and pray.
Wow, imagine that, the president of the United States reading the Bible. That's like, the separation of church and state. It's the separation of church and state. Shut up. All right. Let's talk about Ilhan Omar. She's you know why I think she's crooked as the day is long and needs to be denaturalized and deported? Because I'm not stupid. Yeah. Here's Tom Emmer from Minnesota.
Another day and another headline about a certain congresswoman's not-so-stellar record of honesty and competence. Yeah. Last year, Ilhan Omar's financial disclosure revealed skyrocketing wealth.
Yeah.
It showed a whopping net worth of up to $30 million.
Yeah, it's all our tax money, too, by the way. And all of her buddies from Somalia who came in and just basically sexually assaulted the country financially, stole billions and billions and billions of dollars, sent hundreds of millions of dollars in our taxpayer money cash back to the meth lab trailer park of the world, Somalia.
A 3,500% increase in wealth compared to just 2 years prior.
Yeah.
Now she's trying to convince the world that she's actually only worth $95,000. Still quite a jump from
Yeah, she's getting a rectal probe from the Justice Department. It's the reason why she changed her mind.
2 years ago.
Not a pretty picture.
No, but in an eye-popping revision of her disclosure, Ms. Omar is saying the multi-million-dollar discrepancy was nothing more than an accounting error.
Yeah.
In what world is a multi-billion-dollar...
Yeah, we're not full of... we're not stupid, so shut up. Honestly, just get her out of Congress, deport her, denaturalize her, send her home, absolutely flat broke. Here's Rob Finnerty from Newsmax comment about Ilhan Omar.
And it's not supposed to make sense. But do you think it's a coincidence that Ilhan Omar corrected the record randomly on a Friday right after the House announced an investigation into her finances? Wow. And do you think it's a coincidence that she corrected the record randomly on a Friday only after a bill was introduced in the Senate to stop Somali immigrants from smuggling money through airports back to Somalia in suitcases?
Every single one of them who partook in the fraud, even if it's family members who said their children had autism to get money, should be denaturalized and deported. Every single one of them. This is RFK Jr. listen to this. Listen to how badly they assaulted you and me while we suffered, while we ate friggin', a hamburger helper without the damn hamburger because it was too stinking expensive. And you and I are driving cars with 250,000 miles on them that are 20 years old. And they're driving Mercedes-Benz, and they're driving Bentleys for doing nothing but stealing from us. Listen to Robert Kennedy Jr. about not only how much money was taken because of autism fraud, but the people in charge, what they got paid.
In Minnesota, with this analytical behavioral analysis, the ABA therapy, people with high school diplomas and nothing else were being paid $600 an hour. We went from paying $7 million a year for autism services in Minneapolis to $200 million a year, and most of that was stolen. In Florida, the durable medical equipment, we found one hotel with 129 rooms, and every one of them was a durable medical equipment company.
Wow. We got screwed, man. You and I got screwed. We're working 2 or 3 jobs. I was selling cars, man. I'm barely making ends meet. And they just got rich on us, man. We paid taxes for this crap. I mean, my God. My God. Here's Brandon Gill about and I said this, the Democrat Party is the world's largest organized crime family, the biggest organized crime family in history. People need to be led away in leg irons.
The Democrat Party has for decades systematically grown and weaponized the administrative state against the American people, and the American people have had enough of it.
Yes.
Right now we're talking about $2.7 trillion
pitchforks and torches
in improper payment since 2003. We're uncovering what could be the biggest money laundering scandal in American history. And the other side of the aisle could care less. They have no concern about where this money went, to what entities it went, to what government.
Yeah, like the Southern Poverty Law Center, which now we know was labeling us racist and hiring the KKK to create incidences of racism they could blame on us and Donald Trump. You guys, I tell you. And Ilhan Omar had a little restaurant that she made into a substance abuse treatment center that never treated anybody.
Can I ask you just one question real quick, though? Has there ever been a substance abuse clinic that operates out of here?
We are in Minneapolis to continue to expose Ilhan Omar because they once claimed that they were worth $6 million to $30 million. But now she says that is an accounting error, and they're actually worth around $18,000 to $95,000.
Yeah, she owned a restaurant that became a substance abuse center, and they got millions and millions of dollars. This is, by the way, Angela Rose, another citizen journalist.
Cedar Avenue, and that is where we are right now. So this is 326. Ilhan Omar was trying to pass $1.46 million of taxpayers' money to Generation Hope, which is a substance abuse clinic, drug addiction place that was supposed to be operating here, but people found out that it is a restaurant.
It's the exact address where we are that she listed to receive $1.46 million.
And as you'll see, there are other things that operate out of here, like a Sahal service.
Pause. Let's talk about Sahal services for a second and why the manager's address brings us to a mosque or another community center. On his X page, denaturalize and deport. Jail first. I think a few days in jail. No, a few years in jail would really good. And then boot her ass out of the country. Yeah, 100%. Done with all of this nonsense. I told you, a baptism by fire, it's happening. Wasn't going to be easy. We waited a long time to get here, but it is happening. Never relent, never give up. Never relent, never give up. Stay focused. Let's take a break and come back. Jim Keedy, Republican analyst, to join us to talk about Virginia on the other side of the break. Don't go anywhere. Hey guys, it's Carson. I just got a ghost bed. Yeah, no, pay attention here, because I've been sleeping on a foam mattress since I moved to the Washington, D.C. area, which is like sleeping on the sponge in your sink. Ghost Bed doesn't build mattresses like furniture. They build engineered sleep systems. Their beds are serious health equipment. Beds designed for relief and recovery, not looks, not fluff. Your body should be healing while you sleep, not fighting for comfort. I have been sleeping past 7 in the morning on my Ghost Bed. It's unbelievable. If you wake up stiff, you toss and turn, if you sleep hot, even reaching for a pain reliever before bed, hoping tonight will be different, that's not aging. It's your mattress talking. Another great thing I love about Ghost Bed, you get 101 nights to try it at home. If you don't like the difference, you can send it back risk-free. Ghost Bed is offering my audience their lowest prices of the season, plus an extra 10% off. Go to ghostbed.com/Carson. Use promo code Carson. That's ghostbed.com/Carson. Promo code Carson. You are going to love your new Ghost Bed. Hey guys, it's Rob Carson for Relief Factor. There's a reason why at my age I can still crush it at the gym, carry an armchair by myself, or do any home improvement project without pain during or after, and that's Relief Factor. When it comes to supplements, the two things that matter most, it works and you trust it. Relief Factor was created by a combat-wounded Vietnam veteran. He decided to become a doctor simply to help people, to heal them. If pain is holding you back, find out why so many people, including me, make Relief Factor a part of their daily routine. Try the 3-week quick start today. Go to ReliefFactor.com. That's ReliefFactor.com. Or call 800-4RELIEF. That's 800-4RELIEF for Relief Factor.
680 WCBM and 99.9 FM in Harper County.
Short answer is no. Certainly, Virginia, by constitutional amendment, has a new redistricting effort that was put in place and first utilized after in the 2021 redistricting. Certainly, I've been watching with interest what other states are doing, but I have no plans to redistrict Virginia.
That was the Abigail Scambergler in August of 2025, last year, a couple of months before the election, and where she immediately did this redistricting effort, which successfully passed yesterday through chicanery and outside money. But she lied about everything. She lied about everything. I guess she's perfect in the CIA as a CIA spook, because she is a sociopathic liar. All it's done for me, actually, I'm not going to hang my head down. I'm not going to feel bad about this. We have a conniving, lying people in charge of the state of Virginia, and it never ends well for people like that. It never ends well for them when you side on the wrong side of good and God. Joining us on the Newsmax hotline for the first time, Jimmy Cady. He is a Republican analyst, founder, I should say, of JLK Political Strategies. Jimmy, welcome to the show, man. How you doing today?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me on. Yeah. As I like to say, we're now in the communist commonwealth, as I think we are referring to now.
Sure. Momentarily. I'm not going to stand for this nonsense. I'm not going to stand for this nonsense. I have no time for defeatism, by the way, and I don't think you do either, by the way. No time for this nonsense. But clearly, I mean, we were fighting an uphill battle. We had $70 million in outside money. Obviously, the mail-in ballots came in, I think 75% in favor of yes on this damn thing, because this is how the Democrats do it. And this morning, we pick ourselves up and dust ourselves off. What are your thoughts overall on this campaign by the Democrats, the promises of these Democrats and this governor, and how they broke them?
Look, at the end of the day, the Democrats outspent us 4-1, and what they did was they basically ran absentee ballot early voting programs throughout the state. But even then, from a 4-1 spend, it's very clear this redistricting measure was not popular. It was less than 4 points last night. Will be closer as more votes come in. And it just shows really them ramming down unpopular and really un-Virginian. I mean, when I first started working here years ago, we always had the Virginia way, right?
Yes.
And kind of antithesis to what we support as a Commonwealth, but ultimately an incredibly unpopular measure that took outspending 4-1 to get through.
Yeah, and it was all 97% of it, I believe, came from outside of Virginia. We really got to do something about this financing of these NGOs. I'm sure a good share of it came from George Soros, possibly Neville Singham as well. Do you have thoughts last night? Obviously we're seeing we were ahead by 10 points, and then Fairfax County comes in at the very end, dumps a whole lot of ballots on there. Do you suspect any chicanery with regard to this referendum?
Yeah, I mean, I will tell you that in the southern part of the state, Southwest Virginia, all through the North Carolina border, you saw an incredibly high turnout for Republicans that came out to vote. There is actually 5% better to 10% better in some of these counties than Winston-Sears, on par to presidential turnout in some of these lower counties with President Trump. And ultimately, Fairfax and Loudoun and some of these areas such as Henrico carried it for the Dems. I have to think that a more concentrated, low prop voter turnout, Trump voter turnout, would have taken us over the edge here. But ultimately, I think probably 3/4 of the night when I saw that Fairfax hadn't come in, we just weren't able to do it.
I saw
and that was a Dem strategy, right? I mean, it was all Northern Virginia, it was all anti-Trump. They truly do not care about the rest of the state.
Oh, I know they don't. I live here. I live in Old Town Alexandria, and I got to tell you, I moved here about 8 months ago, and you go down to King Street here, and conservatives speak in hushed tones, and I am not going to do that. I am not going to do it. I refuse to. When I moved here, it reminded me of 1939 Nazi Germany. It is utterly ridiculous. And I'm going to tell you, there are a lot of conservatives here. There are a lot of Gadsden flag, plates on trucks around here. And the governing class, and by the way, these are all government employees from D.C. living over here. They're the ones who are driving the left in this part of the state and taking away representation from the rest of the state. But there's a lot more conservatism here than you would think. So right now we are 10-1, 50% of the people in the state of Virginia will not be represented in Washington, D.C. We do have a court that came out and has put a stay, blocked this. This in the Tazewell Circuit Court granted a temporary restraining order requested by the RNC. What do you think is going to happen with this? They're talking about sending it to the Supreme Court. That's generally a lengthy process. Do you suppose that they can expedite this in any way, shape, or form?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be tough, right? At the end of the day, it was a ballot referendum last night, and the Democrats are, if they're good at one thing, that's cramming things down people's throats and through government. So although it does go to the Supreme Court, I think it's going to be an uphill battle. I will say one of the silver linings of last night, if you look at the turnout from Republicans,
yes,
is that ultimately 3 of the 11 districts we actually won. Just by sheer volume turnout, which I think is really interesting. So even though kind of the maps are going to be rigged for Democrat domination coming in the fall, there is still some silver lining on some of these congressional districts that it is winnable if we can mobilize all Republicans to get out and vote.
I have been recommending a recall petition for Abigail Scambergler, and also, if all else fails, a semi and tractor boycott or a blockade of Richmond. I'm not kidding either, by the way. I'm not kidding. I think
I didn't think you were.
Well, good. I figured you wouldn't, because I'm deadly serious. There's a reason why Oliver Anthony's Richmond, north of Richmond, drove so many people, became such a gigantic hit because of the disenfranchisement of the people who do the heavy lifting in this state. And I think the people who do the heavy lifting in this state are now motivated. This is they tread on us. They tread on us. And I think they're going to get bit in the butt. What do you think, Jim?
Yeah, I think the most interesting thing out of this entire process is Abigail Scamberger's approval rating.
Yes.
It has drastically fallen over the last month and a half. And I think that, although it was a loss last night, you don't get those numbers without independence, without, some conservative leaning or even some Democrat leaning people thinking that this is a ridiculous overreach. It'll be really interesting to see. And, my gut is that her approval rating will continue to fall. But we'll see the fallout that she's going to have, and the House is going to have, and the Senate's going to have here in the state, because it's wildly unpopular. This is a result of a 4-to-1 spending. Not that this is a popular piece of referendum that went through.
Well, and also the 80 new taxes that she is. Even Democrats don't like that. It's utterly ridiculous. What do you suppose? Real quick, we got about a minute here. The possibility of a recall petition succeeding.
Recall petitions are incredibly tough here in Virginia. Not only is it 100,000 signatures, but it's also, some legal stuff involved as well.
Yep.
Look, I always encourage everybody to get involved in those type of processes. At some point, this is not a Democrat state. This is a purple state. Youngkin only happened a couple years ago. Trump only lost by 5 points here.
Yep.
So I always encourage people to get involved and go do those type of things, because I do think it does make a difference.
All right. I appreciate having you on. I hope to meet you sometime, since I am now a resident of the state. Jimmy Cady, by the way, it's the Jimmy, Keady on Twitter. I appreciate your time today, man. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Come down to Richmond anytime. We'd love to have you.
All right, brother. I'll drive my tractor down there. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show.
WCVM.
You've heard me use the expression conservative comedy is ascending because the left can't be taken seriously anymore. This is Tyler Fisher, one of the funniest guys out there, talking about playing in Portland.
Portland, if female armpit hair was a city, this is it, man. Holy shit. You land, they let you know where you are. I didn't even get off the plane like, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry for saying ladies, sorry to gender that speech. We mean humans or transhuman people. Just keep in mind the overhead compartments have been filled with illegal migrants, so let them scatter off. Let them off first, okay? They had a tough ride from Venezuela, okay? Give them your pretzels or your chips, because they need it more than you. If you're white, don't forget to denounce your privilege before you get off the plane. Apologize to a black person or a queer person for a bunch of shit you never did. We're going to do a quick land acknowledgement before we exit. We just want to acknowledge that Gate 55 was stolen from Delta. It's now United, and so we just want to apologize to the Deltonian people. If any of your children are confused about their sex, we are doing sex reassignment surgeries for just 1,500 Sky Miles if you're a medallion member. It's a wonderful deal. You want to take advantage of that today. It's going to be at baggage claim 15. Put them on the conveyor belt. By the time they come back around, they'll be snipped up, tip-top, ready to go. Hit the streets of Portland. We want to just remind you of the wonderful things that you can do while you're here in Portland. You can burn down a liquor store without getting arrested. Enjoy some of our great sites, like going to a CVS and having a teenager unlock your condoms while you wait 15 minutes in embarrassment.
Bravo.
Or head down to the park and watch a heroin addict shoot needles in his dick in front of your 8-year-old. Welcome to Portland International Airport.
That is a great bit. That is a great joke right there. About a minute and a half of just boom. He's going to be in Maryland. It's Timonium in July. I'm going to go see him. He's really, really, really funny. Really, really, really funny. Occasionally we need to be funny. I know there's a lot of serious crap out there, but the positive is SPLC is screwed. They've been exposed for the fraud that they are, paying KKK and other white supremacist organizations to create incidences of supposed white supremacy to go after Republicans. Wow. Wow. Just wow. You've got all sorts of goodness happening. Cash Patel going after a whole bunch of stuff's going to hit the fan with regard to the deep state in the next week or so. This is why they're going after Cash Patel this week. So there's some amazing things happening right now. And I mean, people like John Brennan are going to be in a lot of trouble, hopefully going to jail for the rest of their bloody lives. So we can only hope. Let's see what I want to talk about here. Oh, this is kind of interesting. CBS. Do you remember when the southern border was completely open and how frustrated we're screaming at the television going, when are you going to do something about this? Remember that? Here's Brandon Gill talking about why Democrats open the border.
Absolutely, we should have. I mean, I think you framed it correctly. This was the biggest mass resettlement program in American history. This was the Democrat Party bringing in the murderers and the rapists and the criminals and the gangbangers from some of the worst parts of the globe and resettling them into American communities. Yeah. And, you know, people ask all the time, why in the world would any political party do that? Because whenever we look at these people, we see people who are turning American cities upside down, who are killing our people, who are raping our people, who are suppressing American wages and taking American jobs, and all the Democrat Party sees are voters, and that's the difference between the two parties.
Yeah, 100%. And by the way, I'll mention, you know, the Democrat Party, the only way they can win is by cheating, like in Virginia, like with mail-in ballots, like with illegal votes, all of this stuff, Act Blue, the SPL, the Southern Poverty Law Center, all of this. Here's why it's going to fail. A, they're on the wrong side of good and God, and B, we are not going to be ruled. And the only way they can win is to steal, and that means they are trying to rule us. It is not by representation. State of Virginia right now, Republicans have almost zero representation. We refuse to be ruled. We have to refuse to be ruled. We will not go quietly into the night because we're not going into the night. We're not going into the night. This is a report from CBS, Eagle Pass, where there were millions of people crossing the Rio Grande, now completely silent.
This is the U.S.-Mexico border near Eagle Pass, Texas. You can see Mexico just a few yards away across the Rio Grande. And this is what it looked like in December of 2023 under the Biden administration. Behind me is a makeshift staging ground where hundreds of migrants from Latin America have been sleeping and waiting to be processed by overtaxed Border Patrol agents here in Eagle Pass, Texas. At that time, we saw hundreds of people, including families with young children and babies, cross into the U.S. illegally in large numbers. Some of them had to get past the Rio Grande, get past the razor wire. In fact, some of them, we saw ourselves cut themselves in the process of entering the country illegally. But during this entire trip, we have not seen a single migrant. And the fire chief of Eagle Pass told us that during the Biden administration, at the peak of the border crisis, his team was responding to about 3 reports of migrants drowning every single day. Now they're responding to 1 drowning every 3 months. So the situation here.
Wow. They didn't care. They didn't care about the children being trafficked. They didn't care about the fentanyl deaths of Americans, 100,000 per year. They didn't care about it. They just didn't care. They didn't care that on the Darien Pass, the pass coming up here, not the Darien Gap, but the pass coming up here, that the buzzards were fattened by human flesh from people dying on the way up here. They didn't care. This is why, again, they're on the wrong side of God and they're on the side of good, and we won't be ruled. We won't be ruled. All right, let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show. The Darien Gap. All right, everybody, how are you? Chris Schwab, how's things on your end? Thanks for watching on Facebook. Trying to catch up with the conversation here. You guys have been talking a lot here. It's hard for me to do it when I'm focused on other stuff. I know I'm easily distracted and everything. Taco will settle your tummy. Okay, what are you talking about here? They did it to destroy America. Of course they did. But we aren't going quietly into the night because we're not going into the night. 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 Round a pony. Did Rob post his new DCTS design anywhere? Oh, the new T-shirt design. Not yet. It's coming. It's coming. I'll show you the finished product. I've got 2 new T-shirt designs. One of them is about my faith and hopefully yours. There it is. Blessed beyond belief. That's going to be available on T-shirts and other stuff. But it's important. Rush had the EIB network. I have the BBB network. Okay. Then we've redesigned the Don't Catch the Stupid shirt to get rid of the COVID thing in the middle there and just make it about the show. Don't Catch the Stupid. Kind of cool, right? Kind of cool. Thank you. I think the Blessed Beyond Belief is important. I think it's not just about my show. It's about being thankful for what we got. Being thankful for what we got. I think it's crazy cat lady time. Yeah, I'm going to be posting them on my Swagline page. That's my favorite. I love it. It's important. It's important. All right, here we go. Cat lady update here in a second. Have you signed up for the Learn and Earn event for Birch Gold? If you haven't, please do so. If you have a 401k or IRA that's just laying there and you don't know what you're going to do, retirement, for me, retirement's 10 years away, which is fine. I love what I do. I may never retire. Who the hell knows? But I'm trying to put some money away, and I decided to invest some of it in gold because gold has just been so amazing. And Birch Gold said, here's the deal. If you're not ready to buy, how about we just teach you about it? So you got this Learn and Earn event. It's an online course, doesn't take any time. You're going to learn about it, where to put your money, what kind of gold, gold, silver, whatever. Give you an idea where it's come, where it's going, etc. Gold was worth $2,600 2 years ago. It went up to $5,600. Right now it's pushing $5,000 an ounce still. So if you want to sign up, just go to text my name, Rob, to 989898. Rob to 989898. Bert Gold's Learn and Earn event is only going on until the end of the month, so get on it today. Text my name, Rob, to 989898 today. Here, it's time for a Crazy Cat Lady update. Here's a Crazy Cat Lady talking about, crazy cat ladies and dating, and she's come up with a little song. She calls herself, because she has green hair, a poison dart frog.
If you've ever wondered why these girls wear hair of different colors, you might be part
Talking about insane women who wear their blue hair and crap like that.
of the problem, sir. I wear my hair like this to tell you touching me is never okay. And in the
we wouldn't want to.
dirty South, you'd think it were.
Oh, in the dirty South. Okay, sure.
But I'm a poison dart frog, 'cause men don't listen. I dye my hair like this to warn you to stay away.
Oh, we will.
I'm a poison dart frog, 'cause men don't hear me. Looking like this keeps
Men don't want to hear you.
predators at bay.
Oh, she wears her hair green to keep predators at bay.
Now you might be surprised to hear this. If I doll up and look too pretty, I become public property.
You'll never look pretty.
And if a man must get around me, please just ask me. I'm a person. Don't just put your fucking hands on me.
There you go. That's right.
'Cause
Really
I'm
nice.
a
There's the Poison Dart Frog song from the Crazy Cat Lady there on the Rob Carson Show. Crazy Cat Lady theme song right here. Jim Gossett.
Well, they have a lot of cats, and they're all Democrats. We call them Karens.
Crazy Cat Lady Karens.
They have a whiny voice. They are all pro-choice and mostly barren.
Thank God.
They're cat ladies. Whoa, whoa, whoa. They're cat ladies. Talking about some miserable ladies who have clearly lost their mind.
There we go. That's why we do it. And this is your Democrat Party. And this is why they won't win. That's going to do it for the show today. Make sure to check out the Rob Carson Show podcast, number 10 in the nation for political commentary, number 42 in the nation for news, number 250 for all podcasts. Millions of them out there. We're 250. We're 250. God bless you. America's founded Donald Trump. He's doing a great job. By the way, our military also, to hell with these Democrats and their nonsense. And until tomorrow, which is Thursday, don't catch the stupid. I love you guys. God bless you.
Information. Truth is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.